Thanks, guys, for
Thank you.
Wait, am I in a solo bedwars right now?
You're literally not. I returned you to the hub.
I literally am in a game right
Then leave the game, Nimrod. Ah, we
Oh my god. I just put it 7.
now.
Christian, what
After
is
being a
wrong with
party,
you?
I'm. Oh, you left the party.
I didn't leave the party. I didn't.
Well, if you didn't leave the party, why aren't you in the party?
I don't know.
Like,
that is factual.
join up. Jet, are you
I
out,
did.
are you out of your game?
I'm
He
out.
joined.
Danny, are you gonna get on?
Nah.
I'm in a bullpen, bro. I'm in a bullpen.
I've been banned too many times today.
Yeah, for no reason.
It is okay, young pal. Dude, the hard part, dude.
Jet, I'm using your texture pack, so we're gonna win.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
all
sir.
three using it. It's not even. I actually like it.
Okay. We should vote for Tesla. Everyone vote for
Jet
Tesla.
is the only one either who votes, dude.
Guys, I'm gonna go get slurp some water real quick. I'll be a base bitch.
Base bitch.
Does anyone go
Me and like the
slurp on
PvP goats. Goats.
It's funny because I'm not even cheating.
What?
I used to just like cheat with Christian Andre Mason, and like Christian Andre Mason was just really good, and I would just cheat, and we would just go and demolish people. But I don't even cheat anymore.
Oh, who's this
Our
random
teammate
dude?
left.
Yeah, Ron Carter.
What a goat! He took one for the team. Here, I'll go to DJ and
I'll go mid like always.
How much is it for blocks?
5 iron for 32 wool.
5 iron for 32 wool. Okay.
Christian got that memorized.
Dude, you gotta know these things, Blake. Come on.
Well, I mean, we just switched. We were just on Hypixel, and I don't.
That's right.
I have like everything else memorized. I don't have blocks memorized because I don't ever buy blocks.
I always buy blocks. That's like the only thing I ever.
Yeah, I never buy blocks too.
Because
Oh,
Christian
well,
usually builds it anywhere I want to go. Yellow speed
am I?
bridging.
Is that just the place?
Huh?
Is that just the place?
A place. Yellow should be mid, by the way.
How, bro?
I
They
told you.
zooming over there, bro.
They're speed bridging.
I don't even have enough to get over there, dude.
It's
Oh my
where you
gosh.
crouch and then uncrouch. So like you're crouching and then uncrouch when you're walking back, and then crouch as soon as you're on the edge. And you do that repetitively, and you'll eventually like if you get really good at it, you can go like super fast. Yellow's here. They just broke our bed.
Oh my.
He hit you with the ball.
It's okay. Jet's AFK. It doesn't really matter.
You just blame it on Jet.
Yeah, that's what we can do.
Literally. Yeah, yellow's just camping our bridge, then.
That's good for them. We don't have to go after them yet.
Where you guys know that feeling when
Yeah, I also know that feeling.
Oh yeah, bro.
He's got the same skin as Jet, or a similar skin as Jet.
Yeah. How did that?
He's trying to bait us to go on his bridge, or on our bridge,
And we're not that stupid.
because he wants to hit us off.
We just got 3 runs. We got 3 runs.
Whatever, he's wasting his time.
We got 1 for Ghost.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can upgrade our generators.
I mean, he doesn't have a sword. He's not a threat to us.
Oh, he just spooked some lit.
No, after
Like, why? Go to your teammate.
EURBS.
Here, I got you, Tom. Here. I got 14 seconds.
I had him off.
Get shit on, kid. put GG easy in chat,
How do you do it? Is it slash shout?
I think.
Sorry, this command doesn't exist.
I'll just do T then.
It's in team chat though. How do you type in not team chat?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Try tab.
Slash.
Type tab. It's gotta be like something. It's gotta be like forward slash S.
Try alt.
Guys, don't worry, I'm back.
Our bed's gone, Jet.
And we blamed it on you.
Oh.
Hey Jet, we don't have a bed.
Jet.
Oh.
Guess what we don't have?
We don't have a bed.
We don't have a bed.
Yeah,
You're damn right we don't
have a bed.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
There's a sweaty team in this game.
That was the ball. Oh, he swung at it. He swung at it. He swung at it.
I have my water.
Like, we have to get the mids.
Is it your Zoom water?
Zoom church meeting?
Did you get it from your Zoom class?
Y'all want to know how I got the holy water? I boiled the hell out of it.
Not Blake, I don't know why I said Blake.
I've had it up to here with you, bruh.
Up to up.
He's up.
Up.
Can't show you where here is, but that's how high I've had it.
It's up there. It's up there somewhere.
Oh my god, then. Then. Shut on, kid. Come on, bud. Dude, I'm not
Basically,
making
me and Christian have
myself.
just been base bitching because they.
Hit it. Throw it. Hit it.
I put a.
Why don't we even have diamonds yet?
We have
Arion.
because we haven't gone to mid because there's been a kid camping.
I'm
the
at
bridge.
mid and someone's on my.
Just come here. Just come to me. Just come to me. I'll got him.
What the? How'd he just hit? How'd he just kill me? Did he have a bow?
Nah, he was just run. He has speed 2 already. It's yellow.
Oh my fucking god. How do you already have. Jesus.
Good as yellow.
Does yellow have the OP? Is yellow the good people?
Yeah, yellow's the good people. They know how to speed bridge.
Oh, really? Damn.
Just got fucking shit on. I don't know how they. How do they have speed 2 but they have chainmail armor?
Because they're probably really good at.
Oh, fucking god. I wanna.
Because speed 2 is what you need to buy, basically. I'm coming back to base with enough emeralds to buy our things.
I'll be right back.
Is that good?
Alright, we got diamonds now.
Yes, sir.
The big toe of Crota.
Danny, where are you?
Huh?
Destiny.
Oh, he died.
No, Danny just didn't get on.
Oh, he's in Destiny, the game.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, oh, it's his destiny to die.
Oh, no. No, it is his destiny to die as well, but he's at the game.
I'll put cream cheese on his nipples.
That's kind of hot.
Exactly.
I should start streaming on my Twitch, not my YouTube.
Nah, I don't agree.
Why?
I don't know.
My Twitch has more followers though. Yeah, yellow's the only team with a bed.
They're
Is it
sweaty
about
ass.
the followers though, Blake?
Huh?
What?
Do you guys know what the best defense is?
What?
A good offense.
Facts.
The best defense is good defense, not gonna lie.
Shut up.
That's true for every game but football.
What?
The best defense is the good offense.
Why is that not true for football?
Yellow's
because of
pushing,
lag?
Jet.
Oh, fuck me.
2 of them.
I'm creating the fuck out of him. His shit was enchanted.
He's teabagging you. Nice.
He teabagged me.
Yeah.
Those guys are so sweaty.
I'm changing to the PvP texture pack that I have.
What's wrong with this one?
Like if they're better
Legend
than you,
27.
gee.
It doesn't have short swords. Short swords are the most important thing.
Short swords are the most important swords.
Yeah.
Can you send me it?
Yeah. I have to send you. I'd have to send a link to the Google Drive. Hold up. Drive. New folder. File upload. Yeah, there you go. Where's it at? Where is my? Oh, I moved it to my resource pack folder. Let me go to this PC.
Yeah. It's harder on brain. He sells everybody.
I remember the first time I knew how to get repacks.
What happened, guys?
I went
What
so crazy. Yellow team.
Understandable. Okay.
Bro, the first dude I crit the hell. No, if I would have gotten the arm there.
Okay, I'm gonna make me.
I'm driving to Drake.
I'll be right back, boys. Carry me.
Everyone choose observatory.
Big
Choose
homie driving to
observatory,
Drake,
like,
bruh.
Hold up, let me make a copy of this. Make a copy. Where is it at? Copy. We'll actually upload. You can't make a copy of something. Copy,
Grr. Oh, there's a fucking girl on hell.
paste. Okay.
Would I get like kicked or banned from servers if I have a dick on my skin?
Probably.
I used to have a dick on my skin and I always have to like wear armor. What? How is someone mid? Shit, I need to get some.
Did they already break our bed?
No, we're.
Alright, hold up. Let me upload the.
Alright, I'm going mid. Y'all need to cover our bed. Christian, you there?
He's not. Alright, I just sent the link to the thing in Discord.
Alright. I'm pulling up to mid. But why is there us and one of their team left?
Is there really?
Yeah. They're all at mid though. Fuck. No, they're. Oh, shit. I'm gonna get that bitch.
Oh yeah, it's just us and green, huh?
Not really.
Or us and a red.
They're trying to get the bed. Got him.
I wasted time. Here, we need to. Our teammate, if our teammate could like get blocks, that'd be nice. Or I'll get blocks.
I got the bed.
Okay. Ooh, our teammate's
Ooh.
nasty.
Yeah, they with it.
Yeah, Carter.
Our bad got
Wait,
destroyed.
what? Oh my. How did you get. Fuck.
Nice, I got hit off the edge. I fucked up my building. I mean, we also have an AFK teammate, so. Why would Christian queue us into a game and then immediately leave?
Goodbye.
You get banned.
Alright, where are the freaking dead?
It says I need permission. I need to accept my.
I'm glad you noticed.
I just went in the hub and just wrote the N-word. And I'm not
First you wanna like take it off. I guess I don't know. First you wanna do it.
These guys are trying to join a Discord server.
Get off me!
Danny, why is your brother so annoying?
I'm having to put Bryson on like that. Dying to pray.
Oh my god, Bryson died to Braylon.
Should play a different game.
That's what I was saying. So ask Christian if we could play.
We should play arcade.
We should play like Wolves or something.
Go to setting.
Yeah. That's Sky Wars. Survival games. We can play survival games. Survival games pretty fun. So we have to wait on Christian to come back. Other games, I wanna win it all. These pickles. Town Morgan. Gotta be back, say hi.
Out of our game.
Yo, I want to join my Skyblock.
He said I gotta
Yeah.
talk to
Blake.
Yeah.
Blake.
Yes.
Hello?
put him on your back.
Danny, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
You guys can't
Hey, Daddy Danny. Oh, Blake left the
I
party.
accidentally muted my mic.
Oh, do you wanna look at my Skyblock?
I'm back.
All right,
What are we doing?
I'll send you it. We're going to my Skyblock.
Yours.
Oh, we can start a new Skyblock actually. Yo, one.
Wait,
Because that would be really fun. Or do you guys have realms? Have you guys used your realms yet?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Oh.
Yeah.
I already used my trial like 3 years ago. I was shitting around looking at the game. I don't know why. There's the IP I put in the chat. And then on there it's Skyblock Retro. And then I'll invite you guys on the island. I already did so much. It probably wouldn't be fun if you guys join right now. And we can join a different server.
I joined it.
Did you get on Retro?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on PvP Wars. Is that fucking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
What's your name again?
Star_light 141.
Doesn't say you're on Retro.
I'm on here. I'm on Retro.
It doesn't say you're on Skyblock Retro. Are you?
I am.
The red one? Orange?
Why is my mic
red?
muting? Oh, I had to put the dot. Okay.
I'm there now, Jet. I'm there
in.
now.
I'm in here, Jet.
Okay, I'll do it. There you go.
Right, Steve.
And then... There you go, I invited both of you.
Island. Join. Tank.
This server, after, when it first starts, it's really, really fun.
The request.
But after
has
that,
expired.
it's not fun. What?
Huh.
Hello.
I can see you! I can see you!
She can see you.
Shit.
Alright, I joined the island. Yeah,
Just come to the island.
How do I go to the island?
Stop Island.
Hot Island. What?
Blake. No, on Discord.
Here, bro. You're in opposition.
Oh, my candle's still going.
Yo, bro, I'm raiding. Get the gun.
Yo, what they got in here? About to steal all the loot.
How does he already have my name up here? How do you?
Your window open?
Christian Andre Mason, dumbass.
I wish you were over here.
Has my name on it, so.
I wish all of you were over here.
You're in jet and they're simping.
Asher looks so cute.
Nah, I'm just joking.
How is he playing? Is he hacking?
I would not know the difference if it was a boy or girl.
Did you just say you wouldn't know the difference if it was a... What? You would not know the difference between a boy or a girl?
Hello?
Is that what he said?
I don't know. Who's why is he so
I just
happy,
booped
bro?
some of Christian Andre Mason's loot. How do you kill these mobs? How do you start
You
it?
should play some factions, bro.
Your boy. Why? You just opened a window.
I need to find a withered plume.
I need to find your mama.
Oh shit.
I want y'all to curl my hair.
You crit kids.
I'm going crazy over
I'm
here.
putting his sword back. So he doesn't notice.
I need to find
He's low.
Cap. Oh,
I have quarantine ring.
Alright, found the cap.
Oh, what's out?
I've just been in my blue light. Oh dang!
Hunger Games, I wanna win, I win it all.
Oh, he's grinding. What you mean? He's on his grind.
I'm not teammate. I'm not teammate. You should have seen my last hunger.
I watched. Is that Bacon Canadians? Game
You
song?
best believe that, bro. Hold on, let me pull up my
How much did it cost? Oh my gosh!
Fitting to listen to the Ben Shapiro podcast, bro. You best believe that.
Just because there's been no large-scale clinical trials does not mean that when people are losing lung function, they're going to sit around going,
Lemon
oh,
juice
well,
is
you know,
still
I think that maybe I need
watching,
the clinical trial before you give me the hydroxychloroquine.
Uh-huh.
That's not how any of this
Ours.
is working.
I have no viewers.
Again, the measures that have to be
This is
taken, ICU beds,
not-
ventilators, new drugs developed. And then the question becomes,
I want to
if
dye
this
my
isn't
hair
happened by
so
fall,
bad.
how do
Hello,
we
guys.
reopen the economy?
What, bro?
Right, the question right now is not why there is no. Like, everyone's focused on the here and
No, I
now. I
can't.
get it. Everybody is focused on should we have a national lockdown or should we batten
Do you
down
wanna go to a
national
different
totally
island?
right now? And the
Yeah,
answer
seriously,
is
we can-
I don't think so on the national
Like
lockdown
a- like
order
a-
because
like a-
every
like a
area of the
fresh
United States is
island.
different. And I'm not going to
Yeah,
treat
fresh
a
island.
rural area the same that I would treat
I took
an
Christian
urban
Andre
area. They're not
Mason's
quite the
sword,
same.
killed a few mobs,
And
and
they're
I put
not
it
quite the
back.
same.
Just don't tell
And
them
the
that.
level of transmission from rural to urban right now is actually fairly low.
Did y'all
I saw
steal
this
my stuff?
bizarre map that somebody was putting
Dude,
out
I
there
have really
about the
expensive
distances
stuff.
from their homes that people were driving, and in the south people are driving longer distances
As
away
light
from their
goes
homes.
right
The
to 'em,
suggestion
bruh.
being that they were going and like visit. What were they going and spitting on people? Like I went for a drive with my kids yesterday.
need to get a
We
Yeti.
probably drove for 45
This server
minutes.
is actually
so what?
kind
Didn't get
of
out of the
boring.
car. Like that doesn't mean that we're going around infecting
Golden
people.
pet.
With all of that said, the priority has to be
Okay.
reopening the economy as
Expensive.
soon as we have the data.
Don't
And that's
touch.
exactly how we make
Miss
that happen.
you.
So here's President Trump over the weekend again getting bashed for this. He says we have to reopen our economy. It does matter. Of course it matters. And anybody who pretends it doesn't matter is really
Alright,
making me
yeah, find
suspicious
a
of
good
life.
server. That just
Trump is not saying when we reopen our economy. Trump is not saying that we're going to reopen our economy tomorrow. He is saying that he has to have that first and foremost in his mind. By the way, one of the reasons why he is saying this is because on the back of every crisis, there is an attempt to radically transform America. This happened in the aftermath of the Great Depression. There's been a transformation in the lives of Americans between the relationship between government, federal, state, local, and human beings. This happened in
I'm
the
gonna go look
aftermath
at servers.
of 9/11 with regard to our security.
Y'all got
Right?
that?
Suddenly
Let me eat
people
my
were
sandwich.
just willing to accept a lot more surveillance in their lives than ever they had been willing to accept before. And now they're starting to backtrack that, right? Now people are like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't such a great idea. In the aftermath of every crisis, there is an attempt to radically grow government on a permanent level. And that's just a normal human response because you want to prevent the bad thing from happening again. Well, in this case, where you have the largest government reaction in the history of the United States, the prospect of that being made into a permanent feature of the American landscape is pretty scary. And it's one of the reasons why we should be looking to get out of this as fast as humanly possible. Let me give you an example. So, Andrew Yang, right? My boy Andrew Yang.
And we aren't doing
Andrew's a really
Hypixel
good guy. He was
'cause-
promoting universal basic income years ago, right? He comes on the Sunday
Alright, I
special.
think
We
I
have a full
found one.
hour-long conversation.
What is it?
And the
What
case
server
that
is
Andrew is
it?
making
It's
is
called
that technology is going to put every
Lemon
low-wage worker out of work, and so we have to provide a universal
What's
basic
the
income for those people
address?
so they have something to live on.
I just sent it in there.
And I said to him at the time, there's not a lot of evidence this is happening. Right? We have a 4% unemployment rate in the country. We have more jobs open than there are people to fill those jobs. We do not have this vast underclass of people who are
Oh, it's a
unemployable or
decently
unemployed. In
sized
fact,
server,
wages were
too.
rising fastest for people at the bottom in terms of blue-collar wages as a percentage. They're rising very quickly for people at the bottom under President Trump's presidency. Up
Oh, they
until
have a
this
certain
point.
resource
Now you have this
pack.
vast shutdown.
That's
Nearly
cool.
everybody who's
I'll
losing
tell
their
you
job
now.
is somebody who's a
I
blue-collar
didn't do
job,
it either.
right? Somebody who's earning.
Bro,
good
someone
money.
just got
People who work in
banned.
restaurants. People
Bro,
who are,
here, I'll
people
start
who
the
are working
island.
in domestic
Should we have it
industries.
Skyblock Water
People who are working at
or
hotels.
Skyblock Fire?
Right? All those people are out of work right now. You just threw 30 million people.
Well,
out
I'll go to
of work.
water.
Of those 30 million people, probably
Dog
25
roll wire?
million of those
I'll roll
people.
wire.
Here, I'll start
low,
up the
low
island.
Wage, mid to low wage, or low.
Okay, should we have it? Should we have it
So you just
extravagant,
accomplished what?
extravagant
in
island,
literally a week,
mega
what
island,
Andrew Yang was
compact
predicting was gonna happen
island,
over the course of 10 years.
original?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
go
so
to water.
If you don't want to see a
I just-
I'm gonna
vast
go
underclass
original.
of Americans
said
who are
original.
just
I'll invite
supported
you guys.
purely by the government, you need this economy up and running fast. And not only that, you need people to rely on capitalism. You need people to get back to the model of, yeah, capitalism is great. It's what allows
There's
me to work. It's
one.
what allows me to get out there and earn. What you don't want
There's
is the
two.
government coming in, forcibly shutting down the entire economy, throwing 30 million people out of work, and then all those people have no choice but to vote for bigger government. They have no choice but to vote for a government that's going to fill the gap created by the
Y'all can
government
just
in
do
the first place.
/IS.
Right? I've been willing to go along this whole
When did
time
this
with
reset?
the government drives that Ford F-150 through the front wall of your house. Now they got to repay you for that. That's fine. But what if the government just leaves the Ford F-150 there? What if the damage done by the Ford F-150 is so grave to the
Oh,
front wall of
H,
your
pretty
home
stacked.
that the government isn't going to offer you a repayment to rebuild your home? They're not going to allow you to rebuild your home, in fact, because the economy's
Okay,
been
so
stalled
I'm
for
not-
so
Cobblestone.
long.
Cobblestone.
And
How do I
because
go
they
to
need
lobby
these temporary
slash lobby,
shutdowns
maybe?
and become permanent shutdowns.
No,
And so instead
slash
what they say is,
spawn.
okay, we're going to put you up in government housing. Sorry, you're going to have to move out of that house that we wrecked.
Yeah.
But we've got this really nice
It sends me to my
housing
Skyblock
tenement
program /
in the
spawn.
project, and you're going to have to go there. And people say, okay, well, I have no alternative, so I guess I am going to have to take that. Right? That is the danger here, is that people start to radically rethink capitalism, even though it wasn't capitalism that failed.
Damn, bro,
What
I
failed
fisted
here
it, dude.
was a global
see
health
that?
shock
I just
followed by
blazed
heavy
through this
government
stuff.
action. And if that becomes permanent,
Can
that
you
is a
invite me
real
to the
danger.
island again?
And so
Just do
I'm not willing to allow
/IS.
this
You're
to
already a
become
member of the island.
I'm not
Am I?
willing to allow the government
Yeah.
to become the chief
it told me I couldn't
breadwinner
use it
for
right now.
all Americans. And
Oh,
do
'cause
so
you're
off the
probably
back
moving.
of the people who are
You can't
going to
move,
be
you
left
have to
in
wait.
the economy earning. Not when the government created this situation in the first place.
/IS,
I'm not willing to allow that to happen on a long-term basis. Again, on a short-term basis.
How was Blake so
Sometimes you got to
special
do what you
at
got to
fucking
do.
joining?
Right? Sometimes you got to
Because
shut
I
down
did it
schools.
before, and
Sometimes
it
you got to
didn't-
shut.
it
Although
just
I
sends
think
me
they're
to-
serious
yeah, it
questions
sends
as
me
to
to
whether
my
that should be
island.
done.
I'm
Sometimes
not on your guys' island.
you have to
Oh,
shut
then
things down
leave
because
your
you don't have
island
any other
and
better
then-
data. But if it turns out that the data gathering is taking a year and this is becoming a
Or do
permanent
slash-
feature, and that the idea is that we are now
IS leave.
levying wealth taxes on people and
Do
destroying
/IS
entrepreneurial
leave.
activity in this country and destroying every business in the country on the basis of
I have folks slapping me.
30,
must
40,
be an
50
island
million
lord
people
to
out of
lead your
work,
team.
and the only place we can get the wealth because we can't sell our bonds anymore because nobody is buying bonds. The only way
Here,
to
I'll
raise
invite
money
you,
is either
and maybe
inflation or to confiscate wealth from the people who are going to
There you
produce
go.
all of the best products and hire all of these people back. That's a radical reshift. Okay, so
Before
Trump
you
is not
place
wrong. When he
those,
says
wait
we have
real
to reopen
quick.
the economy, he is exactly right. This is correct.
Put them in the
We will
chest.
continue to use every power,
First,
every
these
authority,
sapling.
every single resource we've got to keep our people healthy,
Sorry, guys,
safe,
I'm like a
secure,
pro at this.
and to get this thing over with. We want to finish this war. We have to get back to
There you
work.
go.
We have to get. We have to open our
All
country
right, I
again.
got this.
We have to open
Can
our
you move,
country
Blake?
again.
Oh, shit,
Blake,
yeah.
you fat
We don't
whore.
want to be doing this for
Big titty
months
bitch.
and months and months. We're gonna open
Okay,
our
no
country
one
again.
died in this.
This country wasn't meant for this.
Oh, you
You
fuck.
were.
And President Trump continues. He says the cure can't be worse than the problem, and he's getting
I'm a
all
pro
sorts of
at this.
flack for this. I don't understand how this is even. remotely
Okay,
fair.
let's reset the
Of course,
island.
the cure can't be worse than the
Retard.
problem. The question is, how bad's the problem?
Just do IS leave.
Right, once we know how bad the problem is going to be, then we know whether the cure is worse than the problem.
Yeah, both of you guys
Right?
do
if you
that.
go into the doctor's office and you
Sorry
say,
guys,
"Listen,
I
I've been
messed
having
up.
some
I
shortness of breath," and the
said it
doctor
back
says,
once
"Okay,
more.
well, I'm going to need to put you on an anti-malarial drug and
I just
we're gonna
slash
ventilate you."
IS leave.
And you're like, well, hold on. You didn't even give me a coronavirus test yet. I don't even know, like, what are you saying now? Is the cure worse than the
You
problem?
slash IS.
Who the hell knows? We don't know the scope of the problem. It could be you just had an asthma
Blake
attack.
didn't know
It
that.
could be that you got COVID, right?
But it said
Until
just
we know
type
the scope of the
IS
problem,
leave again.
it's hard to say whether the cure is worse than the problem. Here's President Trump saying the cure can't be worse than the problem. Of
left
course,
that
it's
one
true.
guy.
Get the data. Get the data. This is on the Trump administration. Get the data. I want to see antibody tests all over the country.
Restart.
Randomized antibody tests all over the country. We need randomized coronavirus tests all over the country. You're telling me that we're going to be able to roll out
There we go.
750,000 tests?
Confirming
every
it.
week?
Let's do a
You can't spare
compact
10,000 of those
out.
tests
Alright.
for just a randomized,
Yo, come on.
a randomized polling sample?
Do slash. Oh, wait, I have to
Can't
invite
open
you
up a data
guys.
center where we actually
Dude,
learn what the
amateur we
conditions
have
are
here,
of
dude.
people who are dying
Oh,
from this thing.
shoot, wrong person.
Better data, better data, better data. You don't want the cure to be worse than the
I'm
problem.
gonna
You got to
promote this.
identify the problem.
I know.
You can do it fast.
Chat,
It
I
doesn't
know
take
you
that
heard
long.
that
Here's
too.
President Trump saying the cure
Didn't-
can't be worse than the problem.
We have to open our country. You know, I had an
There you go.
expression, the cure can't be worse than the problem itself, right? I started by saying that. And I continue to say it.
That's
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself.
You like the
This
island?
is better than the last one, right? It's like,
Okay,
it's like
President Trump
what the
also
hell's that?
says that he wants.
But we'll have to
fans back
clear
in the
more
arenas,
of
which is
it.
true. And then he's asked specifically, like the media are they want Trump to. It's amazing. At the same time, they're saying that Trump is completely incompetent and horrible at everything. They're like, but what if you took
There's
everything
an
over?
infinite water
Like,
source.
could you make that happen?
Where shall we have the
Like, why
stuff?
don't you just nationalize the industries?
We do.
Why
Let's
don't you
let's
just
get this
issue a national
wood
lockdown?
first.
And Trump's like, we have something called the Constitution. I'll tell you. I'm going to let Trump say this, and then
I'm
gonna point something
at
out,
this.
which should frighten everybody. Okay,
Why
here's
has
President
this
Trump talking about
Can
the
I use this
Constitution.
super? Pick me up. Res me.
We have a thing called the Constitution.
Wait, are you in
which I
Fortnite?
cherish, number
No.
one.
No, he's
Number
like
two,
this.
these governors, I know every one of them, they're doing a great job. They're being very, very successful in what they're doing.
Oh,
And
planes.
as you know, I want the governors to be running things.
Good-
now.
good
In
stuff.
Some
Put it-
cases,
put
will
it in the chat.
supersede. But in this case, it's not.
You think they should? I'm not asking if you
I think it depends. It depends
Like,
on the
I need to
individual
look
state that you're
something.
talking about. But they're doing very well, and they're doing a magnificent job in running their states.
Okay, so he is not wrong about this. I mean, a lot of these states are doing a good job, and Ron DeSantis has been dragged over the coals because
Yeah,
Ron
I
DeSantis,
had
the
it
governor of
right.
Florida, refused a statewide shutdown. There were shutdowns in place for 3 of the biggest counties in Florida.
Get off me,
That's,
babe.
that's a reality. That's true.
Okay.
Okay, so it's
What the fuck?
so here's the thing that should scare you.
Man, just
If a
die,
Democrat
bro.
were in charge right now, there's
We're
been a
gonna
lot
be
of
here
talk
for
about the political
years.
divide in the
Oh.
country.
I literally
If a Democrat
put
were
in the
charge right
same
now and
thing.
using
That
this as an opportunity to make permanent all of this stuff.
we don't
the
need a
amount of
cobble
blowback would be
generator.
intense.
Yes.
The only reason there has
No, we
not
don't.
been
Look below
the amount
you.
of
There's
blowback from
cobbles.
Republican states that I think you would see if a Democrat
Think
were
about
president
it.
is because people have the basic idea that
There's
Trump
like
does
2
not
cobblestone
actually
blocks,
want
bro.
the consequences.
Now you
of
just
violence.
dig down.
Doesn't want the government taking over the economy.
There's a
Doesn't
bunch
want
of
a complete
cobbles.
radical rethink of the relationship between government and the economy. The more that Democrats talk about how they want to radically reshift how all of this works, the more Democrats talk about how they want crisis politics to become the norm, the more people are going to resist what needs to be done in the here and now. So I think even Democrats should probably be grateful that a Republican is president right now, because whether
We
you like
actually
Trump or
don't
not,
need the
fact
cobble.
is that if you want people to lock down, they have to trust the
Cobblestone
leadership. who's not-
generator.
Why are you
people
so
talk about, I don't
ugly?
trust Trump to handle this thing. I think he's incompetent. I think
No,
he's
he
a
turns
blowhard.
me on.
Fine. But there's one thing that most Americans do trust
But he's
Trump
like a
with,
pug,
and that
you
is
know?
that he
You
doesn't
look
have
at
the
it,
desire to watch the government completely take over American life. And that is not something that most Americans think, I think, about Democrats. I think that if Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden were president right now and talking about radically reshaping the nature of the American economy,
what should our
the blowback
first
would be
farm
a lot
be?
more severe. The attempts to
Sugarcane?
avoid the sort of necessary
What do you wanna
would be
do?
a lot more severe.
Y'all want to
And
do
it would be half right
sugarcane?
and half wrong. It'd be wrong because you got to pay attention to social distancing. You got, I mean, we're doing it in my house, right? You got to pay attention to all of this stuff. You got to follow the best
Yo, eat
advice. You got to
sugarcane.
stop the spread
with
and all of the rest.
seeds.
But at the same time, they'd be half right.
You
in
should do
being a lot
sugarcane,
more
it's the
impatient
easiest
about how
one.
this thing has gone. So I'm going to be consistent.
Y'all know
I'm
how to
very
do that.
impatient with how this thing is going. I want the data and I want it now. Okay, time for some things I like.
You haven't
and some
been
things
watching
that I hate.
Skyblock.
So
Yes, my
that I like.
pickaxe.
Right
by
now is a
level-
time where you're just
by one level.
watching kids movies, as I've mentioned. There's a great kids movie that just came out.
Wow,
It's
so
been really
cool.
underrated
I bought
because
all
it came
of it
out
so we could redo it.
right directly before the
You guys
virus
are gonna
hit,
learn a
shut down all
lot
the
playing
theaters.
with.
But the last 30 minutes of this thing are just
Just
killer.
watching a picture here.
It's Onward by Pixar, and it wasn't rated super highly by critics. Like it did well with critics, but they were like, "Oh, this isn't in the top tier of Pixar."
Yeah,
films.
please clear the island.
There's some moments in this that are on par with some of the best stuff in Up. There are really some really good stuff here.
Build a
So
shuffle.
the movie is Onward. It's about basically
Sure.
a pair of brothers who are elves, and their dad died a while ago, and they are able to bring
Jen,
him
I
back
have
for a
lava
day,
for,
but they screw up the spell. They're unable to actually bring his entire body back, and so they only bring back his legs, basically.
But what is
And so
happening
they
in
have to go on a
chat?
quest to bring back the rest of their dad before the day ends, and he can only come
Dang,
back.
there's almost
Say
700
that.
players in the
It's actually
server.
pretty,
Yeah.
pretty
How about,
emotional. Here's a little bit of the
lava,
trailer.
So we could redo the cobblestone.
I mean, yeah, if you want to redo it, then
I have no clue how to redo it.
just look up on YouTube cobblestone generator skyblock.
Like you literally get on.
He's just legs. I definitely remember Dad having a time.
First thing I want to do is like clear this island.
Hey guys,
Start.
how's it going? This
Dude.
is Eddie from Cat Bros.
Should I start a YouTube video?
Hours to
This
bring
is going to be
North
how
to
to
the
make a
back.
simple cobblestone generator.
Yeah.
This is ideal for starting out in Skyblock and
Shit, I should have started being like, wrong. I'd be like,
require any.
sorry, these guys already started the island.
The first thing you're gonna need is a bucket of lava and a bucket of or ice if you're in Skyblock.
Oh.
First thing you're gonna do is gonna dig 4
Yes,
salt blocks across.
Danny.
You're then gonna go in one of the middle spaces.
I remember Danny, your dad was honestly. Danny, I love your dad.
For this block that has no space. And water.
You know your dad's speed, don't even.
Sit here and just mine. If
So
you're
the
unaware
movie's
what a
actually really
cobblestone
fun.
That was so much
There's
fun
a
when
lot
you
to it,
talked.
and it's fairly deep.
That
So
continues
it's definitely worth checking out. And one thing about
if you
Pixar
buy
is again,
yourself
when you watch
a
Alright, I
movies
did
with
it.
your kids, you're enjoying it on one level, they're enjoying
Good
it on
stuff.
another, and it's
Oh, we
really
did
great.
it. Do y'all know
Okay,
what
time
slash
for some things that I hate.
Sit here and
You know what is?
if you're in
Slash vote.
multiplayer and you have more than one player, you
yeah.
can just
So as I
Please
mentioned,
do that right
one
now.
of the things that the Democrats are
I
trying
don't
to do,
know.
it really is
Wait, and don't
is
open
they're
it yet.
trying
Oh,
to
there's
mix two messages.
two
Message
different-
number one is that Trump is bad at this and incompetent.
place the water.
So,
message number
do all
two
those links,
is that
blocks and
put in
you
your
can
you need a
username, get it, and
Why is
wait
there
for
red
it.
stone?
the relationship between government and the American people.
Because
So
it
that's
does-
hard to do
it
while
does-
Trump is
that's
president.
It does
On one hand, you're saying he's
multiple.
incompetent,
It's a.
and on the other hand, you're saying he should take
Like,
ultimate
comment
power
and
over
subscribe,
everybody's
and
destiny.
subscribe.
And that's a really hard message. So instead, what they've said
be
is
notified
How?
he's
of
incompetent.
my next
If he
tutorial
were
on how to
competent,
make a
things would be
more
great.
complex
Which is why when you give us
which
power,
is,
we're going to take
easier
over
and
everything, and then we'll be
faster.
confident, and then everything will be great. Now, as I
Before y'all
pointed out,
open it, I want to get this stuff
everybody
on
was getting this
video.
wrong for like weeks on end, right? Like everybody was getting this wrong for a very long time. And then in early March, when the testing started to ramp up and it started to become clear what exactly was happening, then everybody started to take this a lot more seriously. And that is because failures of information exist on the private level. They
Bro, why is
exist
there fucking
on the public
hentai?
level? I mean, the testing information as of late February was pretty nebulous. I was saying that there wasn't a lot of evidence that a pandemic was in the offing like late February, and I was saying that because the testing information at that point did not have tons of evidence that a pandemic was in the offing. I said things could change. They did change. A pandemic was in the offing, obviously. The WHO had not declared it a pandemic at that point. So when it comes to competence, everybody, right, left, center, is
Yeah,
fairly
open up
blamed,
OBS,
right?
there
Everybody
we go.
gets things wrong. But Democrats want to make the case that government is uniquely good at things. It's just that
Like, isn't it
Trump
freaking
is uniquely bad at
anime-
things.
anime?
Because if they say that government is uniquely good at things, then
Isn't
people
it
go,
an
wait, but aren't you
anime
also saying that the government is sucking this up, like being terrible? And the
Hold on,
Democrats'
I'm gonna
answer is, no.
pause
If it weren't for Trump,
Ben Shapiro's
government would be doing an
podcast because
excellent
you're
job.
super quiet. What?
Is it your name anime.mp4?
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing
With
them
the
point to
capital N,
Cuomo,
or
because
with the
Cuomo
capital
keeps saying,
NMP.
yeah, sure, like New York is a hotspot,
Alright,
a
I've
hotbed, and
got all my
Blasio blew it,
keys.
and
All right, wait. Let me start
and
this.
my policies may not have been all that great, but Trump is an
I was
all-purpose
literally on
defense
your
for the fact
account,
that
and-
government generally, right, left, and center, is not very good at things. Right, so they've been pushing this
On my
dual
account,
message,
on
which
what?
is Trump is
On
incompetent,
YouTube,
and also
but
we
now
need to
I can't
radically
go back.
reshift how things are done in the United States. So Rahm Emanuel, the former Obama chief
go
of
back.
staff, mayor of Chicago, former mayor
Like,
of
I went to
Chicago,
your
right, he
YouTube
says
channel,
that this
but,
really is
you
just a
know.
matter. Biden versus Trump is really just competence versus incompetence.
Let me go, won't let
Just
me go
reveal
back.
character.
Jed, are you
And
sure?
in many ways, while you can have a lot of different
No, I'm
policies,
gonna,
it's going to be
make
the
it-
qualities of the individual come forward. And I think in the contrast here, and this is not just because I'm a Democrat, you have competence versus incompetence. You have trustworthiness versus actually constantly spin. And you have actually the most important quality, which is the ability of a president to be empathetic to the people that they lead versus, I think, something coming out of the White House of constant indifference and constant conflict and fighting.
What the fuck? Why isn't my shit working?
Okay, so again, it's competence versus incompetence. There's only one problem. The Democrats have been incompetent on this all the way through, too. Again, de Blasio was mayor of New York. The mayor of New Orleans was telling people to go out and celebrate Mardi Gras. Nancy Pelosi, in late February, was telling people they ought to go down to Chinatown and hang out.
Oh my god.
Right, like the incompetence runs across the aisle. And if you want to say that Joe Biden is supremely competent, again, I'm not seeing the evidence on this. Right, like over the weekend, Joe Biden was criticizing Donald Trump for being too slow on the China travel
64
ban.
views, dude.
In
Jet needs
January,
to
he was
shout
ripping
me
him as a
out,
xenophobe
bruh.
for it. Right, in January,
It has the
Joe Biden was saying
views.
that Trump never should have had any sort of travel ban
Jet.
from China. For weeks, he has been, as Guy Benson says at Town Hall, reactive, repeatedly, almost comically recommending courses of
should check
action
out my,
the Trump administration had already
Twitch
pursued
channel.
or
It's
implemented.
anime
Well, on
MP4
Friday,
without a dot.
former VP supported, he actually
streaming
turned and
there?
supported Trump's
No, I'm
January
not.
31st decision to ban foreign nationals.
Well, then if
Suddenly,
you
Kate
stream, then I'll
Bedingfield,
follow.
Biden's deputy campaign manager, said, science supported this ban,
And in my
therefore,
bio of
Biden
my
did
YouTube
too.
videos,
Joe Biden
support
supports
the-
travel bans that are
support-
guided by medical experts,
support
advocated by
the
public health officials, backed by a
Streamlabs.
full strategy.
And it
He
gives you a
opposed the
link
European
to
travel
my
ban, he opposed the
donate
China
thing.
travel ban. And now he's trying to shift it and say, oh, well, you know, it just, I was just upset that Trump
'Cause I'm
didn't do
being
it
a
sooner.
sellout.
What the living hell? Here's Joe Biden being incompetent and proving the point. Everybody's incompetent.
You have to move swiftly, and we have to move more rapidly.
Okay,
You have
what
to
is
implement
how'd you
the
get
Defense
Redstone?
Production
That's
Act,
what I
empower
actually want to know.
Supply commander, create
Because it's
a
sort of
a Defense Production Act for
all the
banks that get
different
out small business loans, ramp up testing, the whole range of
Are you being
things.
for-
Got to go faster than slower,
No, it's
and
okay.
we started off awfully slow. You know,
really
45
make
nations
sure.
had already moved to keep.
Jay, you finished our stream? Yeah, I'm
personnel
good.
from being able to
No, bro, my shit.
before the president moved.
Retard.
It's about pace. It's about
Musically
it's about
cringe.
the urgency,
Okay, there
and
we
I
go.
don't think there's
Freaking
been enough.
hilarious.
Switched
Just
it. Right, he's
hilarious.
switching it. He opposed it. And now it's like, oh, he didn't do it
Okay,
sooner.
I have it.
Right,
It's
because
only
Trump
doing
had said he
Redstone
wanted
right
to
now.
ban travel from China like
But-
early January. I'm sure Biden would have been all over that. Okay, bottom line is incompetence is bipartisan.
There we go.
Oh, cobblestone.
One thing you can guarantee about human beings, no matter their
Christian.
We
age,
have to do the intro.
Back up.
but I mean, speaking of incompetence, by the way, and just sheer political brazenness, Biden over the weekend he was ripping into Trump
They're gonna
because
rip
the
to the ball.
Defense Department fired this Navy captain. Why? Because he decided to email everybody
All
in
right,
his email chain and
so
say,
we are
"He's a
back.
nuclear battle carrier."
First
That's the
episode
reason he was fired, not because he was recommending
on
the chain,
Skyblock.
that he needed to
What server is
control
this?
The COVID situation on this battle carrier,
And
but because
Lemon Cloud.
emailing everybody else on the
Lemon
chain,
Cloud
you can't do that.
Craft, something like
You
that.
can't do
Okay.
that. There's somebody who might come-
We
if you run the
I
National
should
Defense
started
Sector,
recording
if
before
somebody
this,
might come
but
had a
we
recommendation
are
for how to
starting
do that.
a farm, a
And
sugarcane farm,
they rounded up
and
the
we don't
chain.
know when this
That's
is
totally
set.
fine.
So
We do that all the time here.
I don't.
If that
Okay,
person
we're
then
just
copied
we
the
wanted to
entire
play,
mainstream media
and we
and
just
was like, by
started.
the way, this place is a bleep show.
Episode
What
1.
happens is that person they get fired. That's the
I
way
feel like
this
I'm kinda
works.
redundant.
But here's Joe Biden suggesting
Alright,
that it is
we have our
criminal how Trump is
vokies.
treating this Navy captain.
I'm an open mind.
I think it is. I think it's close to
I
criminal the
I
way
have to go
they're
warp crates. I
dealing
think.
with this guy. Not his. Not his
Yep,
conduct.
warp crates, y'all.
The idea that this man stood up and
It says you're
what
not
had to be
streaming.
said.
I know, I'm
vouched that
recording.
His troops, his Navy
said that like
personnel
3
were
times.
in
All right.
Where'd y'all
in
go?
danger. Look how many have the virus.
Oh shit! I got a blaze spawner. I was like, are you fucking?
Have a
No.
commendation
Where'd
rather
y'all
than-
go, bro?
25K it baited me. To warp
y'all
crates.
You should get a
U slash
commendation for
warp
copying
space
people outside the
crates.
chain of command.
I got
It's a very weird way to
100,000
run a military. Okay, so the point
in-game
here
cash.
is that
Oh my! I thought I got a blaze spawner again, and then
not great across
Just
the aisle
me.
when it comes to government. But the Democrats
I-
have a stake in claiming that they are great at government. Why? Because what they
the
actually
spawners
do
are
is
really
transform
valuable, by the
the
way.
relationship between Americans and the
I
government.
got a
It's to
slime
scare
spawner.
everybody. And again,
Oh, that's actually pretty
actually
good.
drives you
How are y'all
wedge
getting
at a time when you don't need
crates?
a wedge.
What?
did you do slash vote?
Christian, you're always. You
And Biden's
never
still trying to
get
protect it.
anything.
Here's Bernie saying
You're
this
always
is
so
fundamental
clueless.
socialist change in the United States. You want to scare people into saying, okay, screw all of this, I'm
Please
going
give me
back out
a-
and I'm working? This is pretty much how you
Just
I only
Let's
got
not
money that whole
overdrop
entire
the
time.
scooter next
I have
time.
71K now. What are lemons?
That we need fundamental
You do slash vote and then go to the websites, put your username in.
society.
The
So what
job
did you get?
Society
Yeah?
which glamorizes
Told you guys to.
billionaires and says that
Oh
we're
my
all in
god,
this.
that's a
The
show
only
me
thing that we
voting.
should be doing is trying to make huge amounts of money. There is an entire younger generation.
What'd you get,
that says,
Blake?
"Well, you know what?
I'm on my
Maybe
last
we
one.
should
Hold up.
work together to create an economy that works for all, a healthcare system that works for all.
Okay, so I got
Okay, so like that's gonna scare everybody. Because
$120,000,
again, the argument, the combined
$145,000 in
argument, Trump's
cash
incompetent,
and
therefore
slime
put
spawner.
Bernie or Biden in charge.
Wow, in a
They're not
in a
only going to
slime
fix this
spawner
thing
that's
and make sure there's no
awesome.
pandemic, they're going to completely reshape
I got
what American government has done.
100,000 cash.
It's pretty
thing,
astonishing.
though.
By the way, I just got to point out this irony. Bernie
Go back to the
Sanders,
island.
he says that Trump is going to cause thousands of people to die. Also, do you remember Bernie
Let's start the
Pennsylvania's
sugar
rallies
cane
in
farm.
February, early March?
Actually, I'll cut back.
Because it didn't happen. Also,
I'll edit this.
my
I'll cut
favorite
back
is that
to
Bernie
when
says
we
that
finish
Trump
this.
is going to hand
And
out
then I'll
money
show you.
to help his reelection. Does Bernie not see the irony of being a socialist?
Or now I'm
somebody
off.
else is going to hand out somebody
You gotta put a
else's
game
money in order to
face
help
on
the
now.
reelection? Here's Bernie.
Did you guys like my recording?
Who has done so much harm
Absolutely
in this
beautiful.
entire
Yeah.
process.
That was amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Has
I tried my
downplayed
best.
the crisis from day
Heck,
one.
What type of
which will
dirt
cost
is it?
us
Is normal
inaction,
dirt? It's just
inaction,
weird.
And not listening to the scientists and spouting off ridiculous ideas is in fact going to cost the lives of many thousands of Americans. But if
Should I
you
make a
think
tree
that
farm?
during a campaign,
Well, if you do slash shop,
It's it's the dirt is what's it called?
Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, you would
wood is not very expensive at all.
Oh, it
the
isn't.
venality
No.
of the president.
Okay. Well, the
Do
dirt.
slash
Bernie
shop.
Sanders explaining that if you give people checks, that they are going to vote
it's
for
like
you.
$4.
I'm really enjoying that. Bernie, a
And
Yeah,
socialist,
16
claiming
cents
that
per.
he is above reproach, but his entire program is steal money from some people and give it to others.
Dang,
But
bro,
they're
that's
bad
steak.
when Trump
That's-
signs the checks because everybody's unemployed.
I
Who
finished
is really
voting.
Calculator
expensive on
did 2
this
additional
server?
hours of content. We'll bring you some more experts. We'll talk to some doctors. You know,
How much is-
constantly trying to bring
Get
you
away,
information.
bruh.
If you didn't have a chance, listen to our Sunday special yesterday.
$48
We spoke to a
per.
couple of different doctors, one from University of California, San Francisco, the other from Hoover
That's
Institution. We also
expensive.
spoke to
Don't
Palmetto
don't
area,
buy that
Florida.
shit. Just dive from.
I got a
starting.
blaze spawner.
So go
Bro,
check
you got a
out
fucking
that.
blaze
never
spawner?
mind.
Otherwise, we'll see
I
you
thought
here
I
tomorrow.
did. What?
I thought I did too. And
Yeah, it stops and then it goes up one.
If you
I was like,
enjoyed
oh
this
my
episode,
gosh,
don't
please.
forget to subscribe.
Fucking
That's-
blows.
We wanna help spread the word.
That's so
Please
good
give
for
us a
XP though. Blaze
$5
spawners are.
and tell your friends to
Yeah,
subscribe
I'm
to.
gonna use your
We're
research
available on Apple Podcasts,
Okay.
Spotify,
$10,000
wherever you
$10,000
listen to
in
podcasts.
cash.
Also, be
Just
sure to check
so I
out
can
the
use a
other
better,
Daily Wire
like,
podcasts,
graphically
including the Andrew
or
Klavan Show,
visually
the Michael Knowles
pleasing
Show, and the Matt Walsh Show. Thanks for listening. The Ben
I kinda like this
Produced
resource
by
pack.
Colton Haas,
Yeah, I like this
directed
one
by
as well.
Mike Joyner, executive producer
The
Jeremy
one that
Boyle,
I sent you is
supervising
the,
producer Mathis
I
Glover
only
and
like it
Robert
'cause it's got
Sterling,
short swords.
assistant
I have
director
access
Michael
to
Idapple,
slash five.
technical producer
But you just got
Playback
five
and
slash.
music operated by Nick Sheehan.
Do you know how expensive that is?
Winterton. Edited
Is
by
it
Adam
expensive?
Sayevitz.
It's
Audio is mixed
that's
by
that's
Mike
like
Corbin.
that's
Hair
money.
and makeup
You have
is
to
by
buy
David
that
Geneva.
in the
Ben Shapiro
shop.
Show is a Daily Wire production. Copyright Daily Wire.
Bro, you don't know how. Oh my! I want to
show-
steal.
It's not just another show about politics.
There's probably like
I think there are
millions
enough
on
of
the
those
server.
already out there. We talk about
I'm selling
culture because culture.
I mean, we
drives
could sell it.
politics
Yeah,
and
actually.
drives everything else.
Actually, no.
So
Keep
my
it.
main
We can look in
focus is on
chat. How much?
life, family, faith. Those are fundamental, and that's what this show is about. Hope you'll give it a listen.
$100,000 in game cat.
That's good too.
I
I asked in chat how much it was.
Island.
They were really upset. So what we decided to do is every day we would sit down.
How do I turn your
talk
island,
about
Jeff?
what's happening.
Do slash is.
and
Do not get the
what to expect.
Don't redeem this for
And this
slash
notion
fire.
of, I don't know for sure, but this is what I'm looking
Island
for.
warps.
Has helped
It
people
goes
because
your
it's given
island
a roadmap.
settings and the island.
It's been almost 3 weeks since President Trump issued his 15 days to slow the spread recommendation,
I don't-
urging
these
everyone
just
to stay
slash
at home and
IS
only
home.
leave for essential business. Those
The
recommendations have
spawners
now
are
been
like
extended through the entire month of April,
$40,000.
which leaves a lot of uncertainty for everyone.
Still, that's
as we grow
good.
increasingly
Yeah.
more concerned with our
And
health
that's
and
the
well-being,
cheapest one I've
as
seen
well
in
as our
auction
financial
house.
stability. By ordering every non-essential business to close, the economy came to a crashing halt, spurring
There's,
a
like,
$2
no
trillion
slash flies in
stimulus
chat.
package, another $4 trillion of spending from the
Yeah, I
Federal
don't. I
Reserve,
think
and the
slash
highest
fly
rate
is
of unemployment this country has ever seen.
good
While
stuff,
the healthcare industry
Christian.
works on defeating this virus, infection and death rates are
The
constantly
CEO of
changing
money.
based on incoming data. Every day, more and more people go without work.
I
and
can't join
This
y'all's
guy's
island.
how
scamming
important
people.
the stability of the
He
economy
makes it look
is to
like it's a
public health,
key, but it's just
not
a
just the importance
tripwire.
of public health to the economy.
Do slash IS
We're gonna
go.
look at that argument from both a healthcare perspective and an
there you
economist
go.
perspective.
Oh,
We're
it's-
gonna be
it's
talking
teleporting
models
to my
used by
thing.
governments to determine whether to
Wait,
shut
you're
down
not
the economy.
even.
The
Oh,
question
here.
of balancing economics and public
So
health.
so
and
ooh,
when
look
we
at this,
finally get back
guys.
to normal.
Look at the feather I have.
Is that what it is?
You,
Slash
you should
fly?
give that to me. You should give that to me.
I'm really not.
Do not drop it until he's cleared in seconds.
Kicking it off is Dr. Bob Wachter. He is professor and chair of the
How
Department of
do you
Medicine
check
at the
how much it
University
is?
of California, San Francisco, and the author
It's
of about
worth a
300
fuck
articles
ton.
and 6 books.
In
He's past president of the
I
Society
really
of
want to
Hospital Medicine
redeem it
and
though.
past chair of the American Board of Internal
Then you
Medicine.
can fly,
Dr.
which
Walker, thanks
is
so much
super,
for joining
really,
the show.
really
I
good.
want to start by asking you some basic biological
Super
questions
convenient.
about coronavirus. Let's start with the sort of conflicting messaging we've been seeing about face masks. Are they a good idea or a bad idea at this point?
I think the
How do you-
science has
can you
evolved
check
in the
in the
last
shop?
couple of weeks, Ben. I think we now
Yeah,
better
'cause you
understand
do
that
slash
people
buy.
can have the virus
Don't even just
and
do
be
slash. Go
asymptomatic
to slash
and be
kits and do
shedding
the food
virus
kit.
at that time.
There's like food kit that
And
gives
so
you
now that
64
we
steaks,
understand
64
that,
chicken,
it
64
is,
apples,
I believe,
64 bread,
marginally safer
32
if
baked
everybody
potatoes, and
wears
16
face masks
pumpkin
out
pies.
in public. I think if
Oh,
people
fuck.
do it, it will become destigmatized.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm
in
probably
the
gonna redeem
countries,
it.
I'm gonna
it'll be
make some
weird.
chests as well.
It's going to take a lot of
Oh.
getting used to, but I think
I'll
while the
put some
virus
boxes
is
in
out there in the
Do you know how
communities, it seems
you're
like
redeeming
we
it,
can
Christian?
I don't know
I
how to
also
check
want
the
to ask about
price,
the
bro.
hand washing. So,
Here,
obviously
I'll
we're
check
doing
the
it, all of
price
our
for
hands are
them.
raw and bloody. So, when it comes to hand washing, why 20 seconds? Is there something magical about 20 seconds versus 15 or 25?
Not magical. There have been sort of these funny studies where
Ethan
they
put his hair
look at
in the
people's hands
things,
that have
the,
soil or germs on them
what are they
and
called?
wash them for various periods
I
of
forgot what
time
they were
to see
called.
which ones
God, dude. So freaking
essentially
sad.
guarantee that your hands will be
I
cleaned
forgot what
of,
they were
of
called.
viruses. And 20 seconds happens to be right.
The-
It just happens
the-
to line up
the-
with singing
the-
happy birthday. to us.
So let's talk about the
Hold on.
hospitalization rates
I'm a
for
pickaxe
folks with
192.
coronavirus.
I'll buy
So
that.
what percentage of folks with coronavirus end up going to the
Should I
hospital?
buy
What
it?
percentage of those people end
Sure,
up
if
having to
you
go to an
want.
ICU? What percentage of the ICU
We can get
people
pets
end up
on this
a
thing.
ventilator, or are those coincident? And what percentage of people on ventilators actually end up
I
surviving?
forgot what they were called.
Okay, how long we got?
I'm buying a diamond pick,
It's,
But it's like
a lot of the answer
braided.
to that then depends on the population
Yeah.
of patients, because we know
Wait, his hair is braided?
we know that older people and people with other diseases before they got sick with coronavirus
kisses
do
brother,
worse.
what
So,
he said,
for
man.
example,
Yeah,
the
pretty much.
very high
He's got the
mortality
Thomas
rates and ICU rates in Italy are partly related to the fact
But-
that it's an older population. But if you take all comers, about 80% of people who
Damn.
get the virus do just fine. They, in fact, some of them we
Who
know
has
are
changed
asymptomatic for
in
the
high
entire
school?
time,
Who's changed?
but most of them will have a flu-like illness, recover fully, and be fine.
Who's changed?
About 20%
Like,
of people will get sick enough, and a decent percentage of them, 15 to 20%
Not
of
by
all
errors.
comers will need to go to the hospital. Of those, somewhere around a quarter to a third, again, depending on the overall health of the population, might need to go to an intensive care unit. Not everybody
You're
who
not
goes
by
to an
arrows?
ICU needs to be on a mechanical ventilator, needs to be intubated and
Why would you need
ventilated,
arrows?
can't breathe
For the
without it.
bow,
You
Nimrod.
do.
Why would you
And
need to use a
overall
bow?
death rate,
Wow.
nationally
I
in the
heard
U.S.
about
is
the bow.
around 1%.
Why did you buy a
of people
bow?
that Get the,
I don't know.
get the illness. If you were unfortunate
Christian, what's
enough
up with
to
you and bows? I swear,
need
every time
to
we're on
go
Skyblock,
on a
you don't
mechanical
leave until
ventilator in the ICU,
Bedwars, you don't leave
the
till you have a
studies
bow.
vary.
Bows are so OP
on
though.
the
in
low side,
Skyblock.
the rate's 50%.
But
On
on
the high
here,
side,
why?
some of the early studies from China show
Down here, it don't make no sense.
90%. So not
Uh,
everybody
PvP.
who gets sick enough to be on a ventilator dies.
Yeah, but we shouldn't PvP. People
Yeah,
already have
exactly.
gods.
And,
Yeah, there's people
the
with like
outcomes
the
are
best
tested.
kits who just go there and farm.
So looking
farm all
across the
their money
country,
off of
obviously the
PvP kids
hotspot
and
right
then,
now
like,
is
selling
New
their
York.
stuff.
We've seen emerging hotspots in places like New Orleans and Detroit. But
We need to
also,
move this
I don't really
chest.
know what to
you've
do.
suggested that the
Just
curve has
keep
been
going
rather
and,
successfully flattened in Seattle. It looks
here.
like the curve has been
I have some
rather
chests,
successfully
and you
flattened.
can
What do
bring.
you think is the difference between cities like New York,
Yeah,
Detroit,
put all the stuff
and
in
San
that
Francisco
chest
or
in
Seattle?
here.
It's hard to know fully, and I suspect that multiple factors are at play, but
And I'll start
here
the
in San
sugarcane
Francisco,
farm.
there
Boom.
was a concerted amount of action
All the stuff
by
that's
both
in here.
government leaders and I think very importantly corporate
And this chest right here. See this
to,
chest?
they saw what happened in China. They saw what was happening.
And we're gonna start
in Italy,
sugarcane.
and they took it very seriously. They believed the science, and I think the science is relatively clear that the best chance that we had to stay safe was early and aggressive
Come on.
action, and the action was sheltering in place. The action was avoiding close contact. The action
I
was
really
hand
want to
washing,
use
things
slash
like that.
Who
And so
needs money then?
here in the Bay Area, as early
You
as
could give it
March
to me.
5th, leaders of the big companies, that was
Someone just
Google,
purchased a
Facebook,
rank.
Salesforce, and others, basically told all their employees to stay home and work from home. Now, they're advantaged in doing
But why
that
didn't you
because
move
their
this
employees
stuff?
are all
Alhamdulillah.
digital and they all have ways of working from home. It's not so easy.
Oh, dude.
If you're an Uber
I thought you
driver,
were saying maybe
you're
your stuff.
working in
Like you put
manufacturing
stuff
or
in the
other
chest.
places, but
Ah,
that was
Jet,
as early as
shut
March
up.
5th. March 16th, the mayor of
So you
San
just
Francisco
fly
and the
infinitely
mayors
around.
of the 5
You
counties
can
around
make
San
fly
Francisco
around.
all issue the sheltering-in-place order, and the
I don't think this thing is gonna make
did
much.
the same thing on March 19th.
We already have a
Earlier
spawner,
than
so
any
like,
large areas in the country.
I think we just
So I think it
forget
was
this
all of
idea.
that, and I think people,
You know?
did it. People just kind of believed that this was real. We better pay attention.
Okay.
I think part of that was
So what are the limits?
being on the West Coast, where
I have no
particularly
idea.
China, we have a very
Never
large
played the
Asian
server
population.
before.
We saw what happened in China.
Maybe it's like playtime.
We took it very seriously.
No, I'm thinking it may be.
Was the first
I think
part
like
of
your
the United
island
States
level,
to
I
get
think.
hammered. And San Francisco and Seattle are
Or maybe
it's just
cities.
lemons,
They're
dude.
very similar in many ways. And we saw
I
that.
have 0.1
Say, if it
limits.
can happen in Seattle, it can happen here.
I have
And there's
0.08.
just some luck. I think.
Yeah, I think it's experience,
New York
like
may have gotten
mining,
lucky. There are
killing
places where
mobs.
it just breaks out, and even if you did all the right stuff, you're still going to have a big problem.
How did y'all get all that
Those actions
gear?
really did make a difference.
So, Dr. Walker, in just a second,
Yeah.
I want to ask you about some of the modeling that's being used to
Tools
justify
and minerals.
entire economic
Only
shutdown.
thing
We'll
I
get to
love
that in
is a
just one
pickaxe.
second. But first, let's talk about the fact
This
that
is
we're
just
spending
awful,
an
just
enormous
that.
amount of time online right now, and that is like a hacker's paradise. They're looking for your information, and now would be a great time for them to steal it from you. This is why you need a VPN. And you know the VPN I trust is ExpressVPN.
I'm gonna
the
mine the
best
tree,
online
bro.
protection possible. I've been talking about ExpressVPN on this show for so long, you'll already understand why encrypting your
Can you help me
data
mine
is
all this?
important. But if you haven't done
Joe.
it, that is your
This is
fault.
super
It's not
ugly.
your fault. Instead, go get ExpressVPN. You might be thinking security threats don't affect you personally.
Don't
Not
fall
using
in.
ExpressVPN, it's like leaving your front door
I can fly
unlocked every time you go out.
Well, you had slash fly?
When a break-in does happen, it's pretty
Wait, so you can fly right now? Then fly for.
to have somebody steal your credit card number.
Bruh, you actually
Your
activated.
internet data is with ExpressVPN.
You don't need money,
Click
then.
one button on your
Already.
computer or smartphone, and you are now protected. So, here's the only question: why haven't you gotten ExpressVPN yet? Visit my special
That's
link
the
right now,
whole point.
expressvpn.com/Ben.
Help
Get
me
an extra 3
take all
months
this
ExpressVPN
off.
for free. Protect your internet today with the VPN I trust to keep my data safe. That's expressvpn.com/Ben. expressvpn.com/Ben. So we've been relying very
Should we get
heavily
the
on models to
cobblestone?
determine exactly.
Yeah,
what
mine
we
all the
do here.
cobblestone off.
One of the questions about the models
It
has been
doesn't matter,
exactly
we
how
don't
far they extend. So
cheat.
the IMHE model from the University of Washington has been heavily used as sort of the source for we're going to experience maybe up to 100,000 deaths. That model only extends until the very beginning of August. It doesn't take into account the possibility of a second wave. And that raises questions as to what exactly the purpose of the curve flattening is. So on the one hand, obviously we want to
Are you
flatten the curve
helping
so
me,
we
Christian?
don't
Oh yeah, you are.
exceed the
Don't.
medical capacity that is out there for ventilators
Section
or
off.
for ICU beds. On the other hand, if there's going to be a second wave in the fall and we are all going to get it, and how do we calculate exactly when it is worth it to go back to work, considering that the economy is taking unprecedented hits right now, 10 million people unemployed in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's a brutally difficult question. I'm not going to accept the idea that we're all going to get.
Can y'all help me out level this
Particularly, for
out?
myself,
Like
being
just
over
like,
60, I'm in one of the risk groups, so I can't go.
because I don't like it all lumpy.
Defying that it's inevitable that we're all going to
Down here.
I think what we are trying to do is
But like
take
level
this
it to
thing
the same
down
level.
as much as possible.
Like what?
To
Like
get
what
everything
level
done.
the stones at?
Yeah, what level the stones at?
Like
Like,
summer, there's some seasonality about it.
what me and Blake
So
are
that
at.
then when it comes back in the fall, which is likelier than not, we're prepared for it.
Oh yeah,
We know
I think
what to
that's
do.
where you get the lemon.
We can
From
immediately
like
institute the kind of public health measures
excavations,
that this
yeah.
time I think we institute
Maybe.
on the late
Like
side.
level 25.
We have
Ah, oh yeah, because
testing
even
available
Yeah, I was
so
sitting
that
over there
we
doing
can
that.
aggressively.
That's
find
probably why you
people
have
that
more
it
lemon.
early and
Well,
quarantine
I had
them and isolate them from the rest of the public.
lemons since like
And all of this,
before I started
I
mine.
guess, if this went on,
Yeah, I
forever,
only have 0.1.
we never found a vaccine.
I only have 0.08.
There is a good chance that ultimately, probably we wouldn't all get it. There's this thing called herd immunity that when you reach a certain amount of the population who's gotten it and has antibodies, it begins to die out. But that's 70 or 80% of the population. So that's a pretty nasty vision.
When the island's all
The hope
clear
is
and
we
everything, it's
tamp
just
this thing down over a long enough time that yes, we don't overwhelm
gonna
the
have to,
healthcare system, but more
also,
importantly,
what's it
we
called?
come up with treatments
What?
or
Remove our
vaccines
carbon generator, 'cause it's got
and
lava
get rid of
around
this
it.
thing once and for all.
Hey,
It's
one of the
okay.
difficulties in the modeling is because so few of the models extend out a full year, and because there are so many variables, it's difficult to see exactly what the sort of counterfactuals are in the various assumptions. So you have the assumption where we do nothing and 2.2 million people
think
die.
we should put it down another
It's
level.
difficult to see, okay, we have
Joe.
over the course of a year, not
Nah,
The
over
less,
the
the
course of
better.
a year, how many people die if we engage in
We need to
social
level the
distancing
house,
and
too.
mask wearing for people
You need
who are
level
under the
these
age of 60 or 65 people who are 65 shelter
You got
in
jokes?
to the best of their ability. We isolate people who are in old age homes and have inherent vulnerabilities. What is the counterfactual to that, or lockdown?
You
for 3
felt?
months
Are
and
you
then do
fine?
it? There's so many variables. It's hard to tell like what is worth it at this point. So what do you think
You could just
emerging from this looks like, and when do you
out. We
think
have
we
enough
start
money
to
to buy
emerge
back water
from this?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. We
We
even
put
have
our
money.
best minds and our best models to this to help guide us as to what the right thing to do is. There is no question that a stance like we now have in California
Can I break the wood treatment?
Yeah, you can break everything.
And the economy
Everything that isn't
shuts
us
down.
level
Can't
except
be
that
our stance
chest.
forever.
We need this.
That can't possibly
Keep
work.
that one chest there.
And eventually,
I think we should move it down a
there will
level.
be so
We
much
want to have as
harm
little
from
as
that
possible.
you begin having to weigh the harm. From
That's
the
why I
virus
like to start from the original island.
from the economy and the harm to health from people
So
not
much
going out and getting health care.
better as
There are competing demands here that we've got to be thoughtful about.
this. It's just this is the work you have to do.
Which is at UCSF where I work. We prepared for.
Can
a
you
New York
only go to your
surge.
island?
We
Is
have
that
not
it?
seen it. We
Yeah.
completely canceled.
Well, you can go to other
all
places.
surgeries, essentially,
Like there's
unless
like
it's
PvP and
absolutely
stuff, and other people's.
emergency.
Yeah, you can
go
For
to.
a couple of weeks, we're now beginning.
You
to
can buy
open up
stuff
to
from
do more
them.
urgent surgeries.
There's a lot
And
to it
that's because
actually.
we
It
have-
isn't
at
just
some
like.
point you say, all right, we're not seeing the same
Yeah.
kind of surge. We need to take care of other people. And so there are.
I think we should go down another level.
It appears that the best model.
Because there's
seem to
honestly
say
just so much right now.
sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and it depends on how prevalent it is in the community and how much of a spike you had, because you come down faster if you had a big spike. The rates of and the prevalence of the virus will go down in communities to the point that we can begin entering a new phase where we begin to relax some of the strict standards. That we
Did y'all
have
see
now
what I just
into
broke?
letting
Did y'all hear?
people
Did
go
you hear
out.
a fact?
But the key thing there is going to be testing and contact tracing, which we haven't done very
Click,
much of.
press right
We
click
have
when you do it.
tens of thousands
Press
of
right
cases
click and
we
you'll go
can't do
super
contact
fast.
tracing. It's overwhelming the system. But if you can tamp this down, my analogy is that of a wildfire.
Especially with shovels.
Tamp down
So-
the worst of the wildfire, and now
Oh
you're
yeah,
out there.
there's Giga Drill.
And you see an ember, and it pops up, and you stomp on it and make sure that it doesn't spread.
Because you're just doing more
Reach
blocks.
that kind of a
Well, it
mode
also just
where
increases
you
your
tamp
durability
it down
faster,
so
I
it's
think.
not rampant in the
Well,
community.
obviously because you're
Hopefully it goes away.
I know, but
destroying more
It's
blocks.
summer,
saying,
and
but
by the
like,
time it comes
I
back in
think
the
it might
fall,
make a
we're
week
ready
because I
for
don't
it.
think
If
I
someone
broke
has
like
any symptoms,
a
we
little bit more
immediately
blocks
test
than
them.
what I
We're
usually
checking
am, and
people's
it's a lot of
temperatures. People
durability.
probably are still wearing masks.
Mm.
And if we find a case,
My
those
mining
people
level is
get
31.
isolated, separated from
Mine
the
is
community,
20.
probably, or at least we consider separating from their families as
I don't know
well.
what mine is.
And that we can keep this thing at a low enough level that then there is time
I
to go
can't
ahead and
break that
find the
wood.
vaccine and the treatments.
Not with dirt.
So, given the variability in the models, and given the
There
fact
we
there's an article in the Washington Post talking about how even the White House's estimate, 100,000 to 240,000 dead, it was completely vague. We have no idea over what term even they were talking about. We don't know what the factors were in coming to those statistics. So, I've been asking sort of a wide variety of people to ballpark where they think we are over the next year, given the fact that there seems to be pretty wide consensus
start
that we're gonna have
recording
to transfer
again.
people back into the workforce by mid-May, perhaps
Why
by
don't you stream?
June at the very latest. So
Because I
this
wanna
cannot
record.
last forever.
Yeah, he records
So
and you
if
could just, like,
that is what happens, if we start to test people, move people back into circulation, isolate people who are
Yeah,
most
it's
at
a lot
risk,
better. It's
until
a lot more
people
higher
are down,
quality.
until there's a vaccine, if they are really truly the most at risk.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
What do you
choose.
think the
I'm
numbers are? Do you
gonna
think it looks like 100,000?
3, 2,
Well, I believe
1.
the models, I think 100,000.
All right, we're
is
back,
looking
and
like the minimum. And
we decided to
that is
let go with that
extraordinarily
sugarcane
tragic
farm because we're gonna make no money with
what
that.
that
And
means.
we also got a
But
slash fly, which
it's,
we redeemed.
We're
Christian
seeing
did.
New York,
And we're just gonna start
New
a
York is
mo-
just the leading edge of what we are
I
likely
think
to see in Detroit, New
to get
Orleans,
XP.
potentially Florida,
Or we'll
a
just
number of
drop,
other-
get a
number
like a
of other
dropper
cities in
grinder or
Illinois.
whatever.
And so,
And we're just
this
excavating
90,000
land
is
right
still
now.
pretty terrible, but I think it is a big
I think we should do
number.
another level.
My
Like there's still so
confidence
much.
that the fall will not be as bad as the spring is that I think
And
we're
that's
smart enough
essentially
to
all we're
learn
doing.
the lessons of this, that it's no longer. It's awfully hard to tell people to disrupt your life and basically screw up the economy based on.
This is
a
probably the
theory
most boring
based on
process,
something
but-
that's happening in China. Once it's happened in New York, once it's
I'll probably
happened
speed
in
this
big cities, I
or
think
cut
people
this
get it.
out.
This is the real deal. I think we will take the kind of actions. I think science will move quickly. I think we will find treatments and vaccines, and almost as importantly, new technology ways to track cases and follow people. There, if you look at what happened,
Christian, are
it's
you
hard to know
leveling the
whether
house?
The numbers coming out of China
I'm
are
cutting
right.
down the trees.
But
Oh yes,
what's
sir.
happened in prior epidemics, what the experience in Korea, for example, seems to show that after that initial spike, if everybody gets their act together, we can keep this thing at bay to a large extent. And the analogy, I think the people always say, well, there was a big surge in the Spanish flu. Well, yes, but the Spanish flu, think about what they had to do tracing. There were no treatments, there were no vaccines, there was no Zoom, there was no Netflix.
What should we do first? Do you think we should try to get...
I think our ability to weather this
Because that's probably going to be
responsibly and communicate effectively is
Blazes.
today than it was 100 years ago.
Let's give
So I
you
don't
a
think the fall
bunch
will
of
be as bad as it's been and will be in the spring.
Dr. Wachter, I want to do a quick lightning round. I have 5 questions for you. So, number 1, what do you see as the actual sort of end date for the crisis? Well, 2 end dates. When does life go back to normal, either post-vaccine or not? And when do we actually start to emerge from the groundhog holes that we've been burrowing in for the past?
Let's go ham on this right here.
It's anybody's guess, but I'm guessing that from May to June.
Y'all see how I went ham?
May is the best estimate of being able to come out of our
Taco Lover 68, not 69. 68 just voted.
Is right. And in terms of when, when we reach a time that things are met him at the cookout the other day.
But you know we were 6 feet apart.
12 to 18 months, and the minute people find it, it's not trivial to get into the arm of 350 million
people.
Yeah,
you know who's making mean burgers?
You got to think it's 18 to 24 months.
Nick.
Question number 2. With all that said, what does America look like in 6
this dog tastes good.
Still, presumably social distancing, is everybody wearing masks? What do you think that American life looks like?
For the way he seasons it,
I think masks are going to become a norm. I don't know if it'll be quite like Tokyo or
but his mom can
cook.
cook.
Yes, he can.
But you're going to see a lot of people wearing masks.
I swear, every time we go there,
people are going to be cleaning their hands incessantly. I think people are going to keep a distance from one another until
she just wants to feed you good.
If there are no cases in your community, it may be reasonable to loosen that a little bit as long as you have.
I'm surprised Nick isn't heavier.
Yes, I'm saying, right?
He weighs like 30 pounds.
You have to get in them gains.
But in communities where there still is virus in the
you go down another level.
zeitgeist, I think you are going to see people walking around with masks, keeping their distance, and cleaning their hands religiously, and I think that's the right thing to do.
I don't know about another
What should America do? What are
Yeah,
the
we should.
we can take to prevent the next pandemic?
Less is more.
It's not the first, and it will not be the last.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how well some of the countries
not
reacted,
talk back to father.
It was in large part because they had a playbook that they could pull off the shelf.
Like, just destroy it.
A national strategy.
Just the entire house gone.
Yeah.
Included what should the population be told, what do they need to do. It can't be a patchwork of you do it this way in this city,
Super break
in
it.
this state. It really has to be a national strategy because this thing permeates state and city lines. It goes to red and blue states. It's got to be a uniform playbook. It has to include a testing strategy. And part of the challenge here was, we don't have a way of getting testing throughout the entire country.
Yes, it is.
So we have to have a rapid-fire way. Somebody at CDC has
This is
to
what
be
we
able
need.
to, obviously with the White House and with the health leaders.
Oh yeah, it is getting
push
a lot
button
short,
and
smaller.
say,
Cutting a
"There's
lot
been an
off.
outbreak in this place, and it looks awfully like coronavirus.
Remember,
and
less
here's
is
the
more,
playbook.
Blake.
Let's roll it out."
Oh, a lot
And I
over
think
here.
At least if it happens in the next 5 or 10 years, I think people will remember this and believe it. If it happens 20 or 30 years ago from now, people will forget this and will go through the same trauma.
Oh yeah, it's cutting off a
So
lot.
how should we treat the government of China after this? Obviously, the government of China
This is
not only
amazing
prevaricated
for us.
about the virus at the
One
beginning,
more
they
level?
completely lied to the WHO. They said there was no human-to-human transmission. They knew better. Obviously, they've been using some of their propaganda efforts to actually suggest that the United States put out the virus.
Like, not gonna lie, I say we take
community
help first day of the
treating
month.
China in the aftermath of this from a health perspective?
Not gonna lie,
Well,
I think we
this
take Heli.
shows how interconnected
First day, Rob? First day?
Diplomacy
What are y'all talking about?
We should treat them, but I think what it has made clear
I'm illiterate.
Good
is
if we all
that
stayed on.
we can't completely isolate from one another. The borders
it's
are
not a BB wipe, is
permeable.
it?
The virus that starts in
Oh, yeah,
China
well, then that's
is
easy.
going to end up here, and vice versa. China
about
reacted. China reacted.
Staying on. I
late
might,
and,
if it doesn't rain tomorrow,
do
I
some
might
of
have
the
to
things
go
they should have
outside.
done. On the other hand,
Yeah, my dad's probably
once they
gonna have to
reacted,
go
they
outside
reacted
and
with aggressiveness that I
help
think
him, but it'll
probably
only
saved
take
a bunch of
an
lives
hour, maybe.
in China and may have saved a bunch of lives
Because we're supposed to do it
around
today.
the world. They did things that we're not capable of doing, and we shouldn't be capable of doing in terms of
Level
authoritarian
nuclear
regime.
vote today.
But in some ways, I think I can understand us being
the crack house.
unhappy with them and that influencing our relationships.
Trap house.
On the other hand, it just shows how
I can agree with the
extraordinarily
crack
interconnected all the countries are, and if we isolate from one another, it doesn't work.
Crack houses in
Virus
Atlanta
is
scare
brutal,
me.
And we have to work together better.
People in Atlanta.
But finally, the measures that everybody's taking, you mentioned before that...
My dad from Atlanta.
For a while.
My dad lives in Atlanta. He's born in St. Louis.
To full
Capital.
normal, meaning like giant
Country, I
events,
believe.
60,000 people at baseball games. I sort of
St.
think
Louis.
that all mass
St.
events are
Louis
basically
is
going to be canceled until there's a vaccine.
St. Louis.
Are all the measures we're taking right now temporary and permanent?
Facts.
I really hope they're not permanent. My son works for the Atlanta Braves, and I can't imagine that we're never going to go to a baseball game again. That's too hard to even imagine. I gotta think that this is.
My legs are so sore from running. Bro, I was running,
normal,
and I went up to a sprint. I did the
a
sprint
little shorter than that. I don't think
20
it's
yards
that much
in
longer than
after I
that.
was
If you think
sprinting.
about the quality
My
of
whole
the
quad
American
just went
scientific
and
medical
locked
enterprise,
up. I had the
we're not gonna be able
worst
to
cramp.
find a vaccine.
And then I had to
I
hobble
find hard
half
to
a mile
believe
home.
We put our full resources, full attention to it.
It was
I think for
horrible.
a year and a
So
half,
sad.
things are going to
I
be
feel
pretty
so
weird.
bad.
I think they are going
Hey,
to. They're
that's
not
where
going to
we
be
live in
full
LA, God.
lockdown like they are now for the next,
Why is our
probably
quad
next
so
month or
demonic?
two. But they are not going to be normal. People are going to be walking around with masks. People are going to be keeping
This
their
house
distance
is
and
so
keeping their hands all the time.
stupid.
Christian
But I
knows
think we're
about
going to
the
reach a
quad.
point in a
He's on
couple
the-
of
he's
years
on the
where
quad game.
things will be back to something resembling normal.
We did
Well,
the
Dr.
same
Walker, I
with
really
that.
appreciate your time, and as I've been saying,
My
folks,
inventory
stay
is
safe
full.
in
Can I
there.
do slash
You
sell
can't be out
here?
there. Really appreciate
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you can do slash sell
This
here.
thing. Actually.
Yeah.
Joining us next is Dr. Scott Atlas, a medical doctor, senior fellow at Stanford University's Hoover Institution, and a member of the institution's working group on healthcare policy.
White
He is
wall.
previous chief
Give me
of
my
neuroradiology at Stanford Medical Center, is the author of the leading textbook on
Can't be
MRI,
that
and
much
has written
wall.
over 120 scholarly articles.
Yeah,
Dr. Atlas, thanks so
the
much for
entire
joining
house
the
is
show.
just
Really appreciate
wool.
your time. So let's start with some questions about the
Bruh.
modeling that's been used so far.
How
So
do
the
you
models
sell,
that
like,
I've
all your
seen
cobblestone?
really only go out a couple of months. The model
Dude, I
from
think you go to
University of Washington has been
slash-
heavily relied upon that says that we could see up to
And then you go to
100,000
the
That only goes up to August.
woods and
I guess
stone,
my question with
bit
these
of
models is
cobblestone.
we are all now
Yeah,
locking
even
down
like
for the next few
CS,
weeks at a bare minimum in order to
that's the
flatten the
most
curve for the next few
efficient.
months. But none of these models seem to extend far beyond that.
And you have to
Everyone's
right
worried that
click.
Vaccines are only going to be ready
Remember to
12
right
18
click.
months from now. It's obviously unrealistic to suggest that we are going to be locked up for 12 to 18 months in our own homes. That's just not going to be workable. So how exactly should we balance the needs of public health and the needs of the economy in a time when we are at such a lack for data as to what happens next?
It's getting easier and easier every level.
Of course, a very tricky question. I would say a couple of points to understand.
See how small it is now?
Number
See how
one,
easy
the
it'd be?
models are
Level
really
another.
just those. And
We
like
should
all
just go till the
projections,
tip.
They're likely to be
Pause
wrong,
for that.
no matter how good the people are that do them, because there's so many incoming assumptions that underlie
What do you
each
mean?
projection. And it's something very important to understand because, as you know, the
Did I?
definition of a
Nope,
case
I
could be a
typed
positive
fast.
test only, could be a symptomatic person. The testing
you
is
type
very
there?
different. And
Slash
very
ISGO.
distributed.
Oh.
Wow,
Second
the
point is
plays,
that,
man.
to re-enter, I use that word re-enter society. I think we're going to see something
Couldn't be my problem.
clearly gradual.
Broke bitches.
And secondly,
Oh, okay,
to be,
okay.
Sort of a different way to look at re-entry.
Let me
I
eat
make
you.
the analogy, it's possible that we will see
10
what people
diamond
call a
sells
new
for
normal. Remember, after
$28.
9/11,
Oh,
everything
yes,
changed
sir.
in airports.
But we
and
have-
we
That's
never had that sort of
actively a
waiting
Oh my
times,
god,
and
this one
I used
cuts
to
off
run
a
up to a
lot.
plane minutes before
What?
it took off.
This
All
level?
those things changed.
Oh yeah.
This
Oh my,
might
it does.
be the same in that,
Really good.
at least in the beginning,
What should the
think
theme
it's
of
very
our
likely
island
we'll
be?
need some sort of testing to
Hell?
permit and allow re-entry, and that testing
We should
is
just do hell.
likely
Okay.
to be twofold.
we gotta make
Inventory's
one
full.
antibody
How do I sell?
testing,
You go to the slash shop and then when
some sort, And that will
found
say if
Bedrock.
you're immune or not, meaning you've already had
Bedrock,
it
that's
and
where
you're
Island
highly
starts.
unlikely
So
to
that's-
get it again, judging from all
That's
the
like
knowledge
where.
of previous
That's our
virus
spawn
infections.
point right here.
And those people clearly will be
You go to
safe
shop and then you
actually,
right click on,
fine to re-enter. And the other test might
and then you
be,
can go to
a test
64 and then you just
active
keep, then you just confirm it.
presence.
All those.
And
I'm doing
I
right
think
click on my
that's
dirt and it
possible
doesn't want to sell.
and actually
On your,
easier.
on the block it when you go
probably,
in. So you do slash shop, you see the block, then you.
to be done. So I think we will have some sort of testing at point of entry. We will still have restrictions, and most importantly, we will have restrictions, and I'm talking about as we re-enter. on the
This
people
is
who
gonna
are
be
the
such a nice
vulnerable
looking.
people. Remember, the number one goal
What a beautiful island
is to
already.
stop people from dying.
I
And
know.
it
We've done
doesn't
so many
really
layers. We shouldn't
matter
got
if
got
you
rid of
get
the
a
house yet.
mild version
Chris.
of this, which the
I have full
overwhelming majority of
inventory.
cases are mild. The question is,
Wait, can you get a flint? Can you get flint and
And this is
Can
the
you get
flint and
number
steel?
one
Fuck out of
focus
there.
and most urgent thing of any policy. So older people,
Look how much is cutting off, Blake.
chronic diseases.
Oh my! Look how much is
need
cutting off.
protection.
Be
They
careful.
need isolation. They need meaning isolation
you
from
can't
I'm gonna
buy
kill
food.
Jet,
either
bro. Jet,
asymptomatic
watch the
or,
work, bro.
sick, clearly.
Oh,
and
sh-
that is going to need testing of people who
damn,
deal
that's
with
cut off
those
a lot.
people, and those people,
Yeah,
the
which is
older
good.
people who are much more likely to have
I
a
want this thing
serious
to
illness
end.
or die, are going
I
to need
can't break
special
a
sort
piece
of
of wall. It takes me
re-entry public
3
health formulation.
watt just
So
flashes.
with all of that said, and looking at sort of the fact that these
so
these
fucking
models
annoying.
and
It's just
studies
this
are not
wall, like,
taking into
there's-
account
you
really
can't
the
buy
possibility of a
shears.
second wave or
What
the
kind of
reality
fucking
that people are
server,
going to
dude?
re-enter the workforce. There are a lot of skeptics
Dog
out
shit
there
server,
who
dude.
have been kind of
Well, if you get
raising their hands
flint
and saying,
or
okay,
gravel
maybe
and then you get
we
iron.
could take this
I'm
for
so
a week, but
tilt.
we can't take this for another 2 months. And the economy is losing 10 million jobs every couple of weeks here. And we are going to enter economic levels not seen since
Where's our
ever in the
chest?
United
Oh, it's up
States in
there.
terms of unemployment. So
We
why
need to
not
move
pursue a
that
policy
down.
like Sweden, for example.
I can create the
where we
chest
isolate
room.
everybody who's over the age of 60. If you're over the age of
Create the
60, or if you have a
chest
pre-existing health
Oh,
condition,
okay,
you're
okay,
expected to
okay.
stay
I'm gonna need to
in
get
your
some
house,
netherrack.
self-isolate. Everybody else goes to work. Everybody else wears masks. Everybody else
Nah,
social
finish the house.
distances,
Now I'll fucking
and
show you
life
a
goes
house
back
with
to
your ass up, like,
quasi-normal.
look
It appears that may in fact be what ends up happening after 3 months of this. Is that sort of the plan? That
Oh, it's
after
cutting
3
off
months, if the
so
curve
much
knocks this
now.
thing
Oh my
down,
god.
or if the curve actually flattens, that we all go back to life in that way? And if so, then
I was
what's
just
the
getting
what is
rid
end
of the
date of that
entire
sort of thing?
island. I mean,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
sort of think there's going to be something like that. I don't think
We need
it will
to.
be. Okay, there's so many parts to the question. I mean, one part is how do we re-enter and who re-enters?
We're almost done.
And we are a certain sort of society. So the main thing to get the economy going is to allow people in the workforce
Oh,
to get
I heard
going.
that, Blake.
As you obviously must realize,
Good
people
bit.
over
Yeah.
65 are not a big part
I
of the
bought another one.
workforce.
It's okay.
And so
They all need like
it's clearly
120
less
something
impactful
dollars.
to restrict those people. I do think that testing is going to be part of this. And, there's a lot of new tests. There are more than 20 tests being worked.
There we go, there we go.
Some have been approved
Get on the
today
bedrock.
for antibody testing.
Absolutely. Okay,
We do testing all the time
Except
at home and
some
at
shit.
points of care for things. There are simple pregnancy tests. And
You
we don't
fuck
have
on.
that
There's a
sort of
big
thing
ass
yet,
house.
but I
He's not looking
envision
at me.
some sort of like at-home diabetic people use a blood pinprick test. So I think that to re-enter,
One sec, I'm
there's a
getting my
public health
building
concern
material.
and there's an individual concern. And the working economy is critical. There's, as you are alluding to, a huge cost to
But
individuals
that water is so
and
scrumptious.
to really
But
sickness.
you always gotta have
death
them patterned.
when there's a depression sort of economic situation. This is not going to go on. I think we have to realize a couple things. Number one, the isolation policies actually work and are working. And this is a message that
okay.
I think people don't quite understand. Yes, more and more people are
That's
dying,
surprising for its 2,000
but
person.
the rate
Usually
of increase of
higher.
deaths
There's 500
is
players
slowing
on right now.
all over the
Yeah,
world.
but for
And we
this
have
the
to
server
realize
though,
that
and
there are causes for optimism. This is reality, not just panic mode. And so as we see these death rates, the
I need a
increase
flint
of
and
deaths
steel.
go down, which they are, eventually we're going to get a handle on
Okay.
this. This
I'm
is
just
a
gonna pay you
virus.
like
There's
50,000.
fundamental biology to understand. And we are
What is your
going to
name?
have
Pain.
enough immunity.
Take guy
We're going to
221.
allow, and it's actually beneficial to allow more people to mingle, given that the overwhelming majority are not going to die,
I'd say $50,000.
and the overwhelming majority are
I
going to
need
have a
gravel.
mild
Did anyone get any
symptom
flint?
course.
Why is
We
the
need
why
so-called
is the
herd
selling
immunity
option
because there's
so
a natural way to
complicated?
eliminate
It's so
viruses
difficult
like
just to sell
this,
one thing.
and
You have
that
to go
is
through a
by
whole entire
natural
freaking
immunity.
process.
And
It
yes,
isn't
you're
that
right.
bad.
We don't have
Yes,
an
it is. Like I
immunization.
have
We
so much
won't
stuff
have
in
an
my
immunization
inventory. I'm not
as
selling
we
it.
re-enter.
I'm
But
just
the
not selling it.
immunization
throw it off the edge.
technology is very good.
Yeah.
We'll have it
If
in
it's like
theory.
fences and
Projections
yeah,
are
stuff
at
like that,
least
just
by
throw off the
early
edge.
this coming year, maybe
What the
sooner.
hell
We
does
don't
flint
know.
look like
But there's
now?
going to be a re-entry. And
Oh, there it
it's
is.
essential
Yes.
Like coal, but
for
stupid.
health reasons as well as simply the economic
the white wool
survival.
out.
It looks like Cole's
of
stupid little
Experts
brother.
call into question the White House models on
No, there isn't a
Hold
lot of.
here in the government's financial response, and Chuck
Oh.
Schumer and Donald Trump go at it via open letter. I'm
I
Ben
have a
Shapiro.
lot
This
of
is the Ben Shapiro Show. Today's show is
Okay, here
sponsored
we go.
by ExpressVPN. Don't let others track what you do. Keep yourself safe at expressvpn.com/Ben. Alrighty, so as always, we begin with our
It's a hot ass breath, Jack. I can
coronavirus
feel that shit
numbers
through the fucking
update,
mic.
because that's of course what
What do you
everybody
mean?
needs to know
Oh,
right now. The United
needly
States
ass
stands
neck,
just over
man.
6,000 deaths from coronavirus. Yesterday was a day in which we lost, according
Like
to
to a bitch,
Worldometer,
that's
done
another
in
one.
which is the same as the Johns Hopkins map. All these stats are basically the same. A little bit under 1,000 people yesterday.
You never, when you're building with wood, you
The day before was like 1,030.
left bare,
So,
except
hopefully
when you're
we're
building
going
with
to
wood,
start
you
to
never
see
want to
this
have
rather
the
than escalate,
the
although
thing bare.
models
You know the
suggest
bare
this is going
side,
to
which is like
escalate rather
ugly.
wildly up until
I never like
April,
showing
particularly
that.
The University of Washington model suggests that
Exactly.
April 15th, they've now delayed it to April 16th, we'll see upwards
So then what do you do when you
of
get to the top?
2,260 deaths in the United States from coronavirus.
Can you
But it is these
can
models
you guys
that
move
are
the
exactly the question. We don't know how
that
accurate the
stuff
models
down?
are.
Well,
We don't
Christian,
know
can
what
you
sort
get
of
that
data
stuff?
goes into them. We're not sure exactly
Move
why
the
the
stuff
data,
down.
the data that
Like
comes out of them
everything?
comes out of them. Are they
Yeah.
based on bad
Is there a
information
test
from
on
China?
that?
Are they
No.
based on Italy?
No.
Are they based on the expectation of continuation of strong social measures? Are they based on the expectation that there will be no increase in ICU beds or ventilators? Right? All of this stuff is variable. There are just so many variables in these equations, and that's not the fault of the people who do the modeling. The biggest problem here, of course, is that we have to rely on models.
I'm gonna make the
that have
chest room over
extraordinary
here.
play in the joint in order to determine whether we
What-
ought to
what I
shut
do with all
down
this
the entire
loot?
world
I
economy
just drop it on
for
the
an
board?
undetermined
No, no,
period
no,
of
no, no.
time.
We need to
Also,
put it in a
these
different
models
chest.
have yet to recommend
Put
what
a
exactly
chest
happens
down.
at the end of the model. So, for example, the University
Do
of
that,
Washington
Blake.
model. This is my biggest question.
Alright.
University
Wait.
of Washington model that everybody is citing.
wood.
That model ends.
Just
I
put it
got
down
it.
anywhere right now.
So right now, that University of
There's
Washington
wood right there, wait.
model, that one is suggesting that we are going to be at about 93,000 deaths by the end of August, somewhere in that neighborhood, and it ends there. Like, that's the end of it. So that it's not as though we know what happens after that, and that's one of the really big questions
Yeah.
here: is how
Okay.
exactly do you determine
And
where
once you've moved everything down here,
where
look,
this
that's
ends?
not
Is
up
there a
like
second
all the
wave?
rest of it.
Does the summer kill it off? It seems like everybody is sort of not answering the really hard questions, which is where is this a year from now, 2 years from now? If we hold it down now, are the resources such that we actually are able to ramp up to expect a second wave? What happens when we release everybody from their self-contained quarantines? What happens here? So right now, if you look at that model, and this is the one that has been the most cited, this health model from the University of Washington. The organization is called the Institute. Let's see, it's called the Institute for.
My right hand hurts.
I want to make sure I get this right. The
Doing.
Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, the IHME, which is an independent population
Can you
health
see my
research
mess
center
live?
at University of Washington. Right now, they are suggesting that the peak will happen on April 15th. They say that's peak resource use.
do it
And they are
again.
suggesting that on that day, there will be
Does it look better
beds
now?
in the United States. There will be a bed shortage across the United States of some 88,000 beds.
You'll see, it's gonna look so good.
39,727 ICU beds needed on that day, as opposed to about 20,000 available, and therefore there will be a shortage of nearly 20,000 beds, and they say there will be 31,782 ventilators needed. Now, those numbers, you know, when it sounds, you know, like a very odd number, that's a sort of exactitude that no model can actually put down, right? It could be off by 100, it could be off by 200, it could be off by a ton. And in
Is
fact,
this
if
like
you
the
look at their
Skyblock?
charts,
I wonder if
what
this
you
is
see
like
is
Skyblock
these
that
huge
me and
ranges
Cassandra
of
Mason plays,
possibility.
where like
There's
you
a
could
low
like
wave possibility, there's a high range possibility.
put like what's it called?
right now they are
You put
suggesting
like a bunch
that
of
the number of
like
deaths
golden
per
blocks
day,
and like iron blocks
if we
and
look at
diamond
the
blocks
stats,
and emerald
their
blocks
stats
down,
have
and it,
basically been
Yeah, it's like that on this.
close
Is
to
it?
reality so
Yeah,
far.
I think so.
Although not exactly on, they're constantly readjusting their models. So they had they suggested that yesterday, which was April
This is
2nd,
gonna be our
that there
chest
would be
room.
1,036 deaths. We saw that there were 900.
You really, you can see windows in
They're
Minecraft.
off, but how much they're off? They're off by what, 10% there, something like that. Around somewhere between.
I need to
7
do the
and 10%.
roof now.
They're projecting that today there will be about 1,200 deaths. The
Is
following
that an
day,
emerald block?
1,400 deaths, all the way up to
Yeah, don't
about
break it.
2,600 deaths on April
Oh shoot,
16th,
that's
which would be
good.
It's
the peak,
above where we
right? April
spawned.
15th, April 16th, that'd be the peak, and then it would start to decline.
Oh yeah, that
They're
looks
predicting
good.
that by
I
June,
need to
basically
craft
June 1st,
some
you'll see
stuff
about
now.
200 deaths per day.
So you
And that
spawn
will
in and
go all the way
zero
down to
arch and
approximately
well. Christian,
30,
you should like brick everything up there in the
20
sky.
at the end of June. So the end of June is
Yeah,
when they're
please
really
do.
this thing is going to stop. They believe
We'll just
that
level it up.
even by May 1st,
Mining
we are
skill
still going to be
increased by
having northwards
one. I'm
of
at level 49
1,500
now.
deaths per day. But there are
Let's
serious
go.
questions as to exactly how well
Wish
these
I'd
models
choose
are
now.
going to predict things, because they're really using New York as sort of the basis for everything. They're suggesting that the New York model, that's going to be the model for a lot of the big cities around the country. And we've actually not seen those sorts of numbers coming out of Los Angeles. Now, the model does adjust
how you
for
mine
differences in
for
area.
mine.
So if you look at California,
Yeah,
for
it
example,
takes
the
slower.
IMHE model suggests a lot less death in California
I'm not
than
gonna mine
in New York,
everything.
right? They think that because
This
California
texture pack
acted
is-
early,
noise is
and
so
because it's
weird.
been spreading here slower, and because we're not all on top of each other
I'll
the
have
way
my
people are on
sound
New
on.
York,
It's
that, for
like-
example, by April 26th, they think the peak resource use in California is going to be a little delayed. By April 26th, there will be
Mine's at
12,421
50%.
beds
Yeah, I
needed,
think mine's
but
at either
there will be
25
beds
or
available, and there will be no bed shortage.
I literally
They
have
suggest that in
retats,
California,
so
there will be 1,866 ICU beds needed and 0 bed shortage, and that there will be a total of 1,493
Don't say that. You're on
needed.
Twitch.
Right, that's a big difference from New York City.
Dude, lemon juice.
Where exactly we stand
Lemon
at this
juice
point
is not gonna
is
snitch on
not
me. He's
super
still
clear.
watching.
I would
Yeah,
say
he's
the
the
models so
OG.
far have been
Yeah, if you
predictive.
stream
I mean,
yourself
they have
cheating
been, I'm not going to
on
say they're
Twitch, you just get
wildly
banned.
off, but there's so much play in the joints and so much that we don't even know about the
On
virus
YouTube,
yet.
they
I
could
mean,
care
we're still
less.
finding out whether the virus is
Yeah, they don't care.
or whether it actually requires droplets
Yeah, like
in order
half,
to
like you
spread.
go on YouTube
So
and
because
look
of
at
all of that
GTA 5,
uncertainty,
and
this
like
does
half the
raise the
videos are just
question
money
of
drops.
how are we going to know
People
if
like
what we did was successful or
GTA
not?
5
In strict
live money
statistical
drop.
terms.
Xbox,
How are we going to know if what we
PS4,
did was successful? Because there are
PC in,
countervailing
like,
concerns.
in the comments is
Now,
or in the
normally in a
description,
medical
it's like,
setting,
all you have
it
to
is
do is
easy to tell
subscribe
what was
to
successful and
these
what was not,
15
right? If somebody
channels
dies, you were
and
unsuccessful. If somebody lives, then you were successful.
do this survey.
But in
and
terms of what if the countervailing
username and,
policy requires the destruction of 20
or should we
million
put
jobs?
redstone
which now
above the
economists are suggesting
spawn
we're gonna
thing
see
so that
20
it,
million
like,
lost jobs by
get-
April
so,
12th,
like-
which is
Oh,
not
yeah,
when
it's
the
more
when
fit-
the United States is going to peak here.
So I
How
have
many
a
deaths
redstone block.
forestalled? And not even prevented, forestalled, right? Because we don't know what happens in the second wave.
Somebody in
This
chat
model
just
only
called
goes
some
for
guy
August.
SM.
How many deaths forestalled
Said, okay,
is
Sim.
worth losing 20 million
Wait,
jobs?
are you streaming?
Because there will be
Me?
attendant poverty and death
me.
and depression and mental health issues.
I'm
and
not
all sorts of
streaming
problems on the
or
other
anything.
end.
Oh, shoot,
That's not
sorry.
to suggest what we're doing right now is wrong. It's to suggest
That
that
looks good.
we have yet
That
to
looks
hear
good.
any of the public
like
health
drop a
experts
link to your
actually
YouTube
weigh
channel and
in
Discord, like
on
the whole
how
thing.
many deaths
Okay.
are likely to be prevented by the policy over the course of a year. Right? We kind of know how many deaths might be prevented over the course of the next 24 months if we do this right. Because if we don't do it
I
right,
wish I had a
then
webcam.
you end up
I'll
with
send you a link to the
500,000 deaths as
video,
opposed
to
to
my stream.
100,000 deaths. You end up with 1 million deaths as opposed to 100,000 deaths. But I've yet to hear any of the public health officials suggest that they have any idea what's
It's behind.
Should I?
us.
I should probably be like
in September. They don't know whether
making
the
this.
die out in December. There's just too much
Did
we
it
don't
soon?
know
No, it
at this
isn't.
point. So one of the questions becomes,
Just had a webcam.
Guys, I'm gonna
have
start
this level
again.
of uncertainty. What is the best
It's like,
policy?
Don't restart
In case of
again, I swear to
uncertainty,
shit.
we lock everything
Why?
down indefinitely.
I
And
spent
when
so
does it
long
definitely come
mining
to an end?
everything.
Because if you lock everything
No,
down,
not restart like that. I'm
then
recording.
costs are being made manifest every single day. But the benefits are unprovable.
Okay, 3,
And when I say
2,
unprovable, what I
1.
mean is
We
that
just
there's
layered
no
this
way to
down,
verify
and
how many lives
we
are actually being
have
saved.
started
You
designing
can't
the
see
base.
the countervailing
Me,
statistic,
pretty
right? It
much,
doesn't
but
exist. It exists in a counterfactual.
we're just working on
Right?
like
If we
a.
all went out, we did moderate social distancing, for example. All the young people.
And then after
went back,
that, once we get
everybody
everything
under the age of 60
organized,
stayed home. Everybody
start
under the
to
age of
do
60
more
was
things
wearing
on the
masks and
island.
social distancing. We
And
actually
we're
know
probably
what
not gonna do a
happens
farm.
like.
We're
It's
gonna
not
do
happening. We know what's happening now. And we know what that tomorrow
dollars.
looks like, but we don't know what
Because I
would
think
happen
that's
if we
what
did the
makes
other
more
thing.
money.
Right? This is one of the problems with trying to project
And
this stuff into the
that's
future.
all we're doing
So
at the
with all these
moment.
variables, what would be nice
I'll probably
is if
time
somebody
lapse this
from the
though
public
after I
health
start.
profession would suggest we have a general
Probably
idea
see you
how many
guys in a
deaths
little
are going to
bit.
be saved or
We
prevented
need trap
over the course
chests.
of the next year, including with the second wave,
Oh yeah, because
including with
can't you
people
like
going
not
back
put
out
normal chests?
and,
Yeah.
and engaging in moderate social distancing over
try
the
to
course of
And
next year. Because
You just need a tripwire and a chest.
if you lock everybody in their house,
Like a joiner stream, and all I heard was
for the next
Ben
3 months,
Shapiro
they will.
blasting
I just don't know
in
what's
my
gonna
ears
happen
ear
after
right
that.
then.
The reason I bring all
Bruh.
this up is because there are serious questions that have to be asked
That shit is
right
booming
now,
in
and
your
especially for the next couple of weeks.
stream.
Everybody's on board
Boom,
for the next
boom.
2 weeks, probably, with the massive sort of lockdown that's taking place across the country.
There should be a
but
way
as
that I
time
can-
progresses, as we are seeing from Europe, things get worse. Permanent changes happen. People lose their jobs permanently. And holes are already appearing in the government's response,
That's
financially speaking. So we're going to have to take a lot more seriously how we get out of this thing.
Are you
What does
streaming
this
now,
look
Zach?
like? And I need to hear
I'm
from
not
public
streaming,
health
I'm
experts
recording.
what that looks like.
Okay.
It's not just enough for them to say, we're saving lives in the here and now. I know, that's normally your job. I don't blame you that that's normally your job. But I need to hear
why
what
does our
exactly
chest
this
room
looks
have
like
no
on the other
chest?
end if the economy tanks.
Because
I need to hear
we
a
were
mixture
just
of policy
designing right
prescriptions
now.
from people who are on the economic side and people who are on the public health side. I'm fully with you on
Yo, should I
prioritizing
put
public
the
health.
chat watch
But I've not even heard a metric of success yet.
You might get like
What if-
banned or something.
What if
Are you
the
kidding me?
countervailing stat is
No.
that 200,000 people would die if
Dude,
we did
I'm
moderate
getting
social
angry.
distancing, but 120,000 people would die over the course of the next year if we didn't do, if we locked everybody up. Then the question becomes,
Christian
I wanna
gets
get- I wanna
angry
get
in
to
the
the
weirdest
video.
way
lives lost in order
I need
to
to
save
dunk on.
Does this
20
look
million
good?
jobs, and maybe on the other end, another 20,000, 30,000 suicides, maybe people falling into depression. Right? These sort of stats. I'm not saying I know the
Like,
stats.
you fall
I don't
off
know
of
the
it,
stats.
Jeff.
That's the point.
You need,
I'm
like,
saying
build
that
fences.
if we're supposed to hear from the experts, then it would be nice to hear
Are
from
you-
the
it
experts.
doesn't look
Instead,
as good
we're
then.
sort of
Look at
getting a
that. That
black
looks
box
ugly.
here in terms of all of the countervailing
It's
concerns.
just for-
I'm not the only one
Literally
asking this
doesn't,
question. The
dude.
Washington Post is
It's
asking
for the
this
for
today,
the
and we're
safety.
going to get to that in just 1 second. First,
But
let's talk about.
We're gonna get an
the fact that you're
OSHA
spending
violation?
An awful lot of time on the internet right now. You're not
It looks
gonna run out
better
of
that
time,
way, look.
and you're going to not run out of time in the next month.
No, it doesn't. That looks booty
So,
cheek.
you're going to be using the internet an awful
One
lot.
v1
and that
bedwars
means
then,
this is like
kid.
a hacker's paradise. If you're a hacker right now, it's
I'll probably beat you. I'll build a
steal
poop.
everybody's credit card number.
You know how spicy I am with a bow.
ExpressVPN protects your privacy and security. Here is something that you might not know. You can also use
Yeah.
ExpressVPN to even unlock movies.
Are you
and
making
shows
the
that are only
tripwire?
available in other countries. This is not
Okay,
committing
so there's
fraud,
not a way
committing
that you
crime
can
or anything.
make-
It's just that if you don't know if
Here, I'm just gonna turn down my desktop audio because you don't want to hear the game that much. There's no way to mute. What's it called? There's gotta be a way. In Streamlabs OBS, there it is. I'll figure it out through just going through my settings. Hold up.
Steer my eardrums.
Because if I don't put desktop audio, you guys they can't hear you guys. So I'll figure it out.
There we go. There's the chest room. We can all have our own section of chest. And then one section can be just anyone can use. I'll put building blocks in one.
I don't know how to watch my
Okay, hold up. I need to figure out how to.
I spent 15 total views. Pog, dude.
Pog.
I think I have like 300 on my Twitch. Christian.
Should we all just share everything? We should all...
Yeah, we should just share everything. Hold up. Oh, there's gotta be a way. Hold up. Spotify. I'm gonna go on like the workshop thing or whatever.
Oh shoot, this server has lottery.
Wow, well, that was abundant when you looked at the freaking test. Lobby.
Can y'all move this stuff in the...
Shut the heck up.
Young man? I will...
Excuse.
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 I'm gonna end
Yo,
my
when you
stream.
publish that YouTube video, Jet,